is so hard.
President Bush continues to urge patience.
And success will take months, not days or weeks.
The war in Iraq explodes, and my mortgage is foreclosed. With international tension, why should I pay attention? Watch Dancing with the Stars. I gotta get up to my eyes, and my job has been downsized. We need a revolution, and I'll find a solution after Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars. Don't care what's on the news, I gotta see the new moves. I'm Dancing with the Stars.
Well, everything you do just captivates us. You've got such joy. You exude such joy on the dance floor.
Right. Let's get to the important stuff, okay? Let's get our priorities. Let's get our ducks in a row. There's another stupid expression. Whoever saw a bunch of ducks in a row?
Just this morning.
Did you really?
Well, that's how they walk, you know, the mother duckling, duck and all the little
and then they walk across
ducklings
the street
all in a row there.
And splat!
That makes it easy to hit them when they're all in a row like that.
Maybe that's why they're so gamey. Maybe they get splattered out there on the highway. I don't know what that's all about. I'm just not a duck guy, you know. Although ducks are cute, you know, they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
Although not certain kinds of ducks, like the ones you're talking about, where little ducklings, you know, follow mommy across the street.
Not those Florida mutant ducks.
No, not like those ones that
they escaped from Chernobyl.
Leave the droppings all over the place. And like, those are the nastiest ducks. Of course, that's the Florida thing. You know, there's a lot of nasty crap in Florida, and a lot of that crap. Although here we got pigeons. Speaking of crap, oh brother, you ought to see out on my patio. In fact, you know something? If I ever decided to take the magic leap. Who was I talking to about that the other day? We were talking about, with a mutual friend of mine, and we were discussing that that's probably not the really good way to commit suicide. Not that there's a good way, not that I'm suicidal, although Monday I sure was. Monday was like close to it. Monday I really gave it some thought. But if I went out on the patio and put like one leg over the railing there, that would be probably the last thing I would see would be all the pigeon droppings on my balcony out there. And not only does the pigeon crap bug me, but the way they, coo, coo, those horrible sounds they make, you know, coo, 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 you know, whatever the hell they're saying, which really isn't very
nice.
No. I think I'm going to be like Ted Williams, and in my aging years, I'm going to spend all of my time shooting pigeons with BB guns. That's what he used to do outside Fenway Park, Ted Williams. The splendid splitter. I wonder if his head is still frozen or what. Oh, speaking of that, you know, yesterday, and I did check it out. There is no Cold Stone Creamery in Canada yet, and they're not looking for, like, individual... What the hell was that? Oh.
Huh?
You must be faxing me something to scare the hell out of me. Huh?
Sorry, didn't mean to send you a scary fax.
No, just, it sounded like it was one of those fire alarms. It was not the usual, that kind of a beep. It was a different kind of a beep. Oh, no. And let's see what it is. For the pool. Oh, here we go with the pool. Ah, jeez, Mario.
It's only the third one we got.
Air freshener maker. Well, Mario, you're a good guy, and freshen this, okay? Freshen it up. I play a fart sound, but we can't. P.S. I would never be able to make enough fresheners to make South Florida smell good. He says, well, you can say that again. The stench of cow manure, as the Mad Dog would say, is just permeating through the air. Ooh. Feh. So what was I just about to say about the ice cream? Cold Stone Creamery is not here. And they're not looking for... Because I thought it would be a really good franchise thing to get into, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not. Well, it could be, but they're not looking for that. They're looking for, like, people who've got a lot of experience, like in the ice cream business and in marketing. Yeah, people who are already in that kind of business. So it leaves me out. What the hell do I know about that crap? But it just sounded like something good. Like a good scam. The closest one to here where I'm sitting right now is Amherst, New York. And there's also one in Rochester. I could swim across Lake Ontario and be Rochester in what, 2-3 days?
Okay.
Get on one of my rubber rafts, like those people in Hallandale this morning. I don't know why they made such a big deal out of that story. Is that unusual? A bunch of people coming in, huh?
I must have missed it. More Raptors?
Hallandale Beach, baby. Don't let me forget to get to my ice cream story. It's very embarrassing, but I don't mind. There's no when you work for this company, there's no such thing as embarrassment. You know what I mean? Hallandale Beach. In other words, as many as 100 migrants aboard a wooden sailboat landed on the city's beach this morning. The boat ran aground a short distance from the beach at Hallandale Beach Boulevard and A1A around 7 o'clock this morning. TV camera showed a number of passengers jumping into the rough surf and swimming a short distance to the nearby shore. Some appeared weak, disoriented, and seasick. Oh, maybe they just came off of one of Mickey Arson's cruises. That might explain it. It was not immediately known if there were any injured in the voyage or the landing. Coast Guard was called and local police at the scene. Initial estimates had as many as 150 people on a rickety old wooden sailboat. Now they're saying about 100, as many as 100. Could be like a lot less than that. When I say as many as 100, could be
about 30, man.
Yeah, it could be a lot less. They tend to hyperventilate. Oh, there's Hank is on the CNN now.
U.S. is holding 5 Iranian.
Wow. Okay, let's get to the poll. And then I got a very interesting email that came in last night. I think it was last night. Yeah, it was from one of our MySpace people, David. David, who just got married a short time ago to, what was his wife's name? Christine, is that it?
Huh?
I noticed David doesn't have a whole lot of friends there on his page. Well, what does that usually tell you?
Well, like Josh said, he only has friends that he knows in real life on his friends page, so there are a lot of people that do that.
Well, but there's a lot of celebrities on there.
Right.
See, when I see somebody that's got a profile page and it's got all these celebrities on there, like almost no real people, it tells me either, A, this is somebody that doesn't have any friends, or B, it's ersatz. One of those things. I don't know. But anyway, thanks, David. I'll get to your thing in a minute. Here's the poll from yesterday. 1,353 vote. My idea of an ideal vacation, I can't even read that. I don't like the way it's worded. My idea of an ideal vacation is jetting off to another country, 350. That's my idea. And boy, it's not long now. Oh, some of us going to be going on vacation really, really soon. Like today is Wednesday, March 28th already. And starting toward the ass end of next week, some of us are going to be heading off to have a really fine time. It's going to be very, very
nice.
Trust me. Tropical Island, 226. Cross-country excursion, 115. Like maybe a trip to Yuma, Arizona. Maybe pick up a hitchhiker on the way. Staying home, drinking beer, watching TV. You know, those were really the days. I'm sure a lot of punks today don't... When you talk about picking up hitchhikers, it's almost like an alien idea to
right.
me. Because today you'd have to be a crazy person to pick up a hitchhiker because they're all like, you know, druggies and criminals.
Absolutely.
And slime balls. Back in
Murderers,
the day, though, I don't know what... Huh?
Murderers, rapists.
Right, all of these
things.
But once upon a time, you could actually pick up hitchhikers, and they were like people trying to go from someplace to someplace else. And sometimes it turned into an interesting relationship, if you catch my drift. I'm sure you do. Staying home, drinking beer, watching TV. How boring, 114, especially the drinking beer part, you know. Vegas Casino, 95. So, hey, Neil, you going to Vegas anymore? Let's hear about those penny slots, Neil. Thank God that I'm well, I'll get to that David's thing in a minute. I'll pat myself on the back. Sea Cruise, 89. Leaving the spouse and kids at home and going alone, 86. A beach, 63. Ski resort, 61. I still don't get that whole. I don't understand it. See, with me, I mean, as a kid, of course, growing up in upstate New York, we had lots and lots of snow. And, you know, you get the snowball fights and stuff like that. But
did you go sledding?
No, yeah, I had a little sled.
Yeah.
I was like a little pansy with a sled.
And wasn't it fun?
No.
Oh.
I hate this pool 47, 3.4%. No, because you keep falling off, and then you get see, the snow is cold and wet. I know that comes
from you're not doing it right
in Florida, but snow is cold and wet, and it's not really as much. There are people who say, "Oh, I'm going to see snow for the first time." Wow, you know, big deal. You can have it, and you should be interested in knowing there is no snow after yesterday's balmy temperatures here. There is no snow; it's all gone. No winter time left, at least here. Although, wait a minute, let me take a look. I think I'm wrong. You know where I think I see some? Yeah. No, it's not. It's a white roof. I thought maybe it was snow. I was looking up on the roof. Thanks again, by the way, Chicken Neck, for that great CD. What a talk-up. The Crying Shames. Boy, they were really good. I might just play It Could Be We're in Love today. I was so hot to try to get that. And one of my people out there on MySpace said, hey, you can get it from Amazon.com. And I went on there yesterday and I ordered it and express expedited international shipping, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bum, and it's probably going to show up today or tomorrow. And then like 2 hours later, I get the FedEx package from Chicken Neck that I get every week with his disc and with some various other assorted sundry crap. And in there is The Crying Shames. The exact one I just... Well, it's only $23. That's about 10 seconds of Woodbine. Today's Woodbine Wednesday, by the way. Do I sound less than excited and enthused about that?
Yeah, you could be a little bit more slap happy.
Today is Woodbine Wednesday!
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
Big deal. Woo-hoo. Boo, I think boo-hoo is more like... Okay, getting back. Vegas Casino 95, speaking of that. Sea Cruise 89. With or without Frankie Ford. Leaving the spouse and kids at home and going alone, 86, like almost anywhere, as a matter of fact. I mean, I just added that. I'm embellishing it a little bit, but then you know me. A beach, 63, ski resort, 61. I read those. I hate this poll, 47, only 3.4%. They liked it. And we forgot to ask the audience this morning.
You like it?
Yeah, they like it. camping out 45, a theme park 23, visiting relatives 22, and a safari 17. A safari.
You fairy.
Oh, brother. I don't know what that. To each his own. People have different tastes. There are people who want to go on vacation and, do all sorts of perverted, wonderful things, which is great. That's right up my alley, so to speak. But, and then there are people who want to go watch animals do it. Oh, and speaking of that, what's that big fat tubby guy in Hialeah that sends us all those spazzing spaz?
Okay, I don't know.
He sent me last night a comment to approve to put on our MySpace page, and it was, I don't even know if I can describe it on the air, and it wouldn't go through. They must censor some of the stuff. It was a video of this little dog, and he was like there was another dog, a boxer, and he was trying to hump the other dog.
I see.
And then he got all whipped up into a frenzy, and he did, I don't even know if I can say it on the air. I have never seen anything like it in my life, and I'm so disappointed that it wouldn't go on there. Maybe you'll try sending me again, Spaz and Spaz, because that's got to go on there. And the dog did his own, how do I say it?
I don't know where you're going.
I know where he was going. It was right between his legs. In other words, he was getting all excited about trying to hump this other dog, and the other dog had no interest.
Oh, he did a Ron Jeremy.
He did it. Well, no, not that much. With his paw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, O'Reilly. I
see.
He did his with his paw, and I thought, geez, what is that all about? I know exactly what it's all about. I mean, I've been around.
Thought only raccoons could do that.
I have never seen anything. I beg your pardon?
Well,
I know monkeys,
all the time, all day long,
like that. Yeah, and they say back at you, But so maybe spazzing spaz, we can work on that, and get that on there. I mean, it's not, we certainly don't want little children seeing something like that.
Bill Rogers.
Good morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. Two bored casino dealers, Fred and Pete, were waiting at the craps table when a hot blonde woman walked up and bet $20,000 on a single roll of the dice. I hope you don't mind, she said. But, fellas, I feel much luckier when I'm completely nude. She strips naked and rolls the dice, and as they come to a stop, she jumps up and down and screams, I won! I won! She then hugs both the dealers, picks up her money and her clothes, and quickly leaves. The dealers stare at each other dumbfounded. Finally, Pete says, well, what did she roll anyway? Fred says, I don't know. I thought you were watching. Now, page 2. Billy is riding in a taxi cab when he taps the driver on the shoulder to ask him a question. The driver screams bloody murder, loses control of the cab, and swerves onto the sidewalk before stopping just inches from a lamppost. After checking to make sure Billy is okay, the driver says, I'm sorry, but you scared the daylights out of me. Apologizing, Billy says, I didn't realize a simple tap on the shoulder would freak you out so much. To which the driver responds, it's not your fault. Today is my first day driving a cab after 25 years of driving a hearse. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Good day. 10:18 at 560 WQAM. Happy Wednesday to you. No Marlin game today. Oh, boy. And it's 4 full hours of this. No calls today either. Oh, geez. I have that thing turned in the off position. I'll get to that in a second. I beg your pardon?
What shall we do?
What shall we do? I don't know how we're going to continue. How we're going to make it all the way till 2 o'clock. It's only 10:18, old bean. Here's the poll for today, and obviously we're going to make our 1,000 votes real easy. Chris this morning, by the way, was kissing my ass in a very, I don't know, you're going to have to stop doing that.
I thanked you for hitting brakes all the time.
I mean,
this is all new to him, and I told him in the beginning that it would ruin his ability to work with other people.
See, I have the same bad habit, okay? I'm one of those people, and it's one thing that little kissy is fine, but then people get a little bit put off by it,
Enough of the sucking.
That's right, and so I've had to be potty trained about doing that with other people, and don't go overboard and kissy, because, a little bit of that is great, and it's flattering and all that stuff. But after a while,
enough of the sucking.
It just gets to be, nauseating, grotesque, like puking your guts out. But anyway, for hitting the brakes on time. I mean, I've been doing this for 100 years. Don't you understand that anybody who is a real broadcaster, or even close to it, doesn't...
This is all very new to him.
It's new to me, yeah.
Anybody who's a broadcaster doesn't need some punk sitting in there, oh, take the break already, will you? It's time for the break. See, that's why I have you fax me the log every morning before the show, and I have my log here. The log, for those uninitiated out there, is a list of the commercials that run and when they run and the breaks and what yada yada. And you know, you take the break when you're supposed to take the break. We take the breaks at the same time here on this show, 12 minutes after, 26 after, 40 and 56 every day for years and years. It's like falling out of bed in the morning, like I did this morning, right on the flow. It just ain't that hard. And, of course, there are some people who aren't real broadcasters, and they just refuse to take the break, and those are just idiots. Those are people that should be dragged out of the studio kicking and screaming. Kicking and screaming. Screamers. You know what I mean?
You fairy.
Well, not those kind of screamers necessarily. It could be, though. But anyway, you're welcome. I'm glad that, you're so easy to please. The fact I take the breaks on time. And I hope that, now you said that Hank Guerrero, one of our salespeople, I might like him.
Yeah, you might like him.
Now, George, you've met Hank Guerrero? See, not being there, and thank God I'm not there, but I don't know a lot of these people. Never met Hank Guerrero, and of course I find as a salesperson he's totally inept. I mean, that goes without saying. But according to Chris, he might be a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy, but I'm not sure if he's your type.
Well, what does that mean? How old is he?
I don't know, mid to late 20s.
Yeah, that sounds fine. A little old, but that's not too bad. And nothing. I don't know if he's exactly your type. I'll take a picture. What does that mean exactly? That my type? I mean, I tend to be very picky, especially for
that's what I'm talking about.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I know that. I know that based on the guys that
based on previous experience
that you have found attractive, I'm not sure if he's quite up to your standards.
Well, in that case, Hank, you better butch up a little bit, sweetheart. Otherwise, because look at Ari Fleischer. Look at her, man. Is that sad?
Jobs now.
Yeah. Look at that thing. What happened to her? My God. Looked like they put her head through a meat grinder. Anyway, here's the poll for today. For $1 million, I would blank. 901 votes. That's the good part. The bad part is that, once again, who sent us this poll? Let me see if I can find where this is. Who the hell sent this? I can't find the original one. Maybe it was Charlie B. I doubt it, though. This doesn't seem to be up to Charlie's standards. For $1 million, I would. I hate this poll is leading 14.7%, 130 vote. That's bad. That is so bad. Almost 15% hate the poll. And you want to know why? Because we forgot to clear it with them before the show this morning. And I can't get this thing going. Forgot to ask.
Do you like it?
See, I got a thick finger there now. I was hitting like two buttons at the same time. Nothing worse than a thick finger. Of course, that all depends on where you're going to stick it. Vote Republican 117. For $1 million, I do that. No, it would take me a lot more to do than that. In fact, there is no price tag. Maybe $1 billion I might vote Republican. Then I can just say screw everybody. Or maybe 20 million. Give up my favorite food for a year, 102. And you never let me get to my ice cream story. Let me do that right after the poll. Okay. Well, it's not something I'm proud of.
Yeah,
but,
no rush.
For $1 million, I'd work at QAM 96. No, I can't afford the pay cut. Not have sex for a year, 90. Well, I can do that for free. Have gay sex, 82. I can do that for free, too. Sometimes. Live in South Florida, 77. Kill some people, 64. Now, that's a really good choice on the poll. And too bad that I wasn't clever enough before the show to kind of isolate that somewhere. So
kill some people.
Yeah, so Mo could say it. And he would be one of the first ones, in fact. 64. No, that wasn't a death threat, Mo. That's just a little joke, okay? Don't start pulling what's the guy's name again? With the wife?
Which
the guy
one?
That wants... Huh? The guy that wants to be on the show.
Don Sherwood?
Don Sherwood.
Oh. Sorry.
Kill some people, 64. Oh, don't say that and Don Sherwood in the same sentence. Yeah, screw him and Joyce. Screw the both of them, okay? And have a good time doing it. Kill some people, 65 now. Not view porn for a year, 59. I know $1 million wouldn't be enough for some people out there on that. No chance. Not view porn for a year? Oh, maybe for a week. 59. Not smoke for a year, 50. Well, I don't smoke anyway, so, for free I can do that. And get married, 35. Out of 915 vote. I don't think that's such a bad poll, do you?
It's fine. It's great.
It's just fine poll, but almost 15% are hating it, man.
I hate them.
Yeah, we hate you, all you people that voted I hate this poll. We hate you. We hope you would die a wicked death, along with some of those other people we mentioned. You know what I mean? Not to mention any names, like Roberta Sherwood or anybody like that. Yeah, so let me get to this, and then I'll, after the break. Oh no, let me do the ice cream thing first. Then I won't have to interrupt this David MySpace thing. Ice cream. Yesterday we talked about Cold Stone Creamery. Okay, which I won't say I'm obsessed with it because I haven't. First of all, I've never been into one of the places, and my friend has brought home, and I've been down there a couple of times, and it's just to die for. I mean, it's really great stuff. Have you been in there actually?
No, I have not.
But you've had it.
I've had it. It has been brought to me.
I see. And I don't really think it's necessary. Now, so last night on the Squeal of Fortune, it obviously was some kind of a promotional deal, and Vanna and Pat were eating the ice cream, Cold Stone Creamery, and they were promoting it. And at the end of the show, there they are, and they're both eating. Oh, this is really good. Shovel it down their puss. So after at 10-1 when the ball game came on yesterday, the Marlin game, which means when the audience went goodbye, which wasn't very
nice.
And I would say by 1 o'clock, I was already fully clothed and out the door, and on the way to my neighborhood supermarket to buy me. And I don't know, well, whatever. I was just looking around, had another ice cream fit, And what did I see in the cooler and the freezer there in the ice cream place? Breyer's Score, S-K-O-R, just like the Score candy bars. Man, is that good stuff. That isn't just, and I told you, I usually hate most of like the Snickers ice cream is crap or the M&M's. The candy ice creams, most of them are really garbage. Very disappointing. Milky Way, I like those candies, but the ice cream they make horrible. But the Score happens to be a really neato flavor. And they don't have it in pints, which is probably, not a good thing for me. So I didn't buy a pint, I bought a liter. They don't have quarts here. They have liter. Now, did we figure out is a liter more than a quart? I sure hope not. Oh, I better look it up during the break?
Yeah, look it up.
Because wouldn't that be disgusting to have more than a quart of ice cream? I have actually, I'm not going to go into it. It's too embarrassing.
Oh, too late now.
About half gallons and things
boy.
like that. Well, I mean, hey, I'm a pig. What can I tell you? I'm addicted to it. It's like drugs. The more sugar you eat, the more you want. That's right. That's me. You bet. So I got me to take me to your leader. I did a Score ice cream, and it sure made me feel really, really good. And then it sent me right to that magic room there for a very wild experience, pal. But nevertheless, well, it has that habit of going right through you. 923 votes on the poll today, so thanks to everybody for my Cold Stone fix yesterday, and I'll probably be in a diabetic coma by 11 o'clock.
Give Ricky a blow.
There was a farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name.
Children love sing-along songs.
Bingo was his name. One bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. I like big butts and I can't lie. You must run the kitchen high. When a girl walks in with anything like her own thing in your face, you get sprung. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty.
Time Life Video presents Cedarmont Kids Sing-Along Songs. Over 60 of your favorite sing-along songs on 3 fun-loving videos or DVDs.
Let's all get drunk tonight. I hope I don't fight with a punk tonight. Like a virgin. Touch for the very first time.
This is an exclusive TV offer, so call now for this priceless collection.
This old man came rolling. Why don't we get drunk and screw?
All right. Sounds like a plan to me. 1033, 2074, 11 at 560 WQAM. 935. This is the show that puts the Q in QAM. No question about that.
You fairy.
So anyway, last night I get this from David, and he's one of those people, I don't know. Back at the beginning on the MySpace, he was one of these guys that thought he was a real comedian, and used to send stuff that he thought was very funny. Everybody thinks they're very funny and a real comedian, and most of them are not. Not.
Nice.
Right. But he's kind of like, I guess, maybe since he got married, I don't know. I have no idea. Although I'm sure you probably have. He's in St. Petersburg, David, and this is what he says to me. And this is not a big, it just sums up what happened on Monday on the show, and kind of changed my whole attitude about this show, about my life, about this company, about everything in general. He says, yesterday's show, Monday, was exhausting to listen to because of those jackasses calling. It was the worst I have ever heard you. You sounded like a beaten man. It is astounding how you can rebound and come right back today, meaning yesterday. It is astounding, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not really, not for those of us who know you. I know you to be very bouncy.
Yeah, I'm real more bounced to be honest. Yeah. How can you continue to work for such bush league people is amazing, but wait till you hear this part of David's, goes to show you nothing is perfect. How you can continue to work for such bush league people is amazing, and a testament to your agent for getting you such a lucrative contract. Oh, yeah, my agent, who I was on the phone with Monday evening for an hour and a half, screaming and yelling and just screeching, which, that only once in a blue moon do I do stuff like that, just screaming my brains out. Have I heard back from him?
No.
Did I get an email?
No.
A phone call?
No.
A message in a bottle?
No.
A bunch of Cold Stone Creamery from Rochester?
No.
By the way, it's on Monroe Avenue in Rochester for those. See, I could do that. Like maybe this weekend I'll take a trip to Rochester just to go eat ice cream at Cold Stone. And then I'll come back cold and stoned and in a box. But anyway, it's good stuff. Anyway, he says, I remember a time when you had real callers. How far that station has fallen. Keep cashing the checks and try not to get angina. Kindest personal regards. Now, isn't that nice? It's nice.
It's very nice.
Mean, not as nice as stuff I get from some of my other close personal friends on there who are really
nice.
You know who I'm talking about.
Right. And I thought you already had a mangina.
But at any rate, I guess there's not that much sense in talking about what happened here on Monday because it was, like I said, I drew the line in the sand just to continue my sanity. And back when we started with the whole MySpace thing and all that Jacob business, and I came on the air and totally out of character for me, and went through all that personal, emotional trauma and crap on the air. I mean, that was a devastating experience for me. Don't ask me why,
I won't.
Don't ask me, huh?
I won't.
Why?
Well, no, because I couldn't give you the answer. I don't know why that bothered me so much. I was a novice in that whole thing, and of course I've stuck in there just like the thing with the show. I hang in there and I, continue plodding along, and sooner or later you find some really great people on there who turn out to be really great friends and very supportive. And like yesterday, that helped to turn this whole show around. Getting, all those messages and all this other pat on the back and a little slap in the ass and kick in the ass. That's what you need sometimes. A good kick in the ass. Swift kick in the ass, baby. Can't hurt, especially when you're an old troll like me. So thanks, David. That was very nice. Very, very... like I said, very nice. That's what I was trying to say. Wouldn't you think?
Yes, it was.
You said you sounded like a beaten man. I think that sums it up pretty well. And like I told you yesterday, there were actually times on Monday, a couple of times, when I just felt like I wanted to get up. Felt close. I've talked about it before, but close to getting up and just walking out of here and saying, okay, it's all yours, that's it. Now, why would anybody in his right mind, and of course that's the operative expression, in his right mind. Leave me out on that. But why would anybody, walk away, like this guy says, from such a lucrative contract and all that money? And because this company doesn't care enough. They're the antithesis of Hallmark. Hallmark's for 100 years. Their slogan has been, "We care enough to send. When you care enough to send the very best, send a Hallmark greeting card." Like that. Mm-hmm. And these people don't care enough to send anything, much less the very best. They won't make an effort. They won't lift a finger. And so I think it's good that I stopped taking the calls for another reason, because it gives me time to sit here and just ramble on and just ream them an ass that they so richly deserve. They're unacceptable is what they are. Totally unacceptable. And they don't get it. They're too stupid to even realize it. And when Josh Cordes tells me that Jolly Joe Bell took him to lunch a couple of weeks ago and sat down and told him how wonderful everything was going here on QAM, I thought to myself, well, there's only one thing going to solve that. That's right. I'm not really sure where we start or who we shoot first. Maybe Joyce would be a good idea. Oh, he's threatening Joyce now on the air. First it was Don Sherwood, and now it's Joyce. Right. That's my choice. And not in line with that. Totally separate topic.
Made.
Oh, brother. See, I look at that, and it's like a sick comedy show. If it weren't for all the dead and maimed people and the fact that, we've done all these horrible things, grotesque stuff going on, if it weren't for that, it would be, I guess, amusing. But you look at that and you think to yourself...
Retreating.
Oh, yeah, trick-or-treating. That's what they're doing in Iraq. Trick-or-treating. Mostly tricks. Not good ones either. 945 votes on the poll. So anyway, after Monday, I decided to give the phone a long rest. Because we've got, and again, it could be amusing. Once in a great while, we've had days in the last couple of weeks where, we just diddled with the phone a lot. And there have been some people that had something to say that were either interesting or amusing or laughable or a little chuckle. But that's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm not going to take 31 years that I've worked in this market and go out like some kind of a fool, like some kind of a clown with a one share, which is what this station's got us well on the way to doing. And take a look at the people you're talking to. You wasted your time in there with Clarence yesterday talking about Don and Roberta Sherwood or whoever those people are. Well, what's even the point? You could talk to the wall and get a better response.
Well,
even that dog that was doing that autoerotic behavior, whatever the hell it was. No, I looked. I still haven't seen that back. Spaz is still looking for it, I guess. Or maybe the dog is looking for it. That was one of the most bizarre things I have ever seen. I thought I knew something about dogs, you know. I mean, I had a dog that had a fluffy blanket that he was very affectionate to, you know, like that. I don't want to be too graphic. He was, yeah. But this dog was like a poison. He just got emotionally overwrought, you know. 952 votes on the poll. It's like me on Monday. I got emotionally overwrought, and I had to step away, step back, and take a look at this whole thing and say to yourself, am I going to let 5 morons, 5 lunatics, a half a dozen, whatever it is, destroy the show and destroy my life and my brain, whatever I got left? And the answer was absolutely not. No, not going to do it. And even if we had to play music here, you know, like the Crying Shames. Thanks again, Chicken Neck. They were so good. It's really sad that, you know, a group that was so good, just they were here and gone just like that.
Yeah. Like what?
Just like a raspberry. Well, that would have been good, some raspberries on my ice cream. On my Score ice cream. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't like raspberries.
Well, why not?
It's one of the few fruits I don't like.
You don't like fruit?
No, I like all fruit except for raspberries.
Raspberries are great.
Nasty.
How can you not like raspberries?
Whatever it is, that's fine. Strawberries are great. I love strawberries.
Blueberries?
You bet.
Blueberries are a little mushy, though. I've got to be honest.
Blueberries are a little mushy. You want huckleberries? They're like the firm wild blueberry. They're good. And,
the firm ones. How about blackberries are good?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to turn it into a racial thing, but man, those blackberries.
They are.
Neil.
Hey, we're watching the game. I need another 5 points to cover the spread.
May the best woman win. Now, here's how to win. And it's easy.
I believe I'm going to win.
In a short time, you may be a winner.
He's a real winner.
You and the office crowd know the Final Four is going down, and you're hoping you're that someone to grab the cash and claim the pool. Well, I guess if you win moolah, you did good for yourself. Well, some use statistics now, and picking random could be wise. Gambling experts just might tell you it's better to go with choosing upsets, or just guess that might be smarter. Hell, it's worth a try. You ain't done anything at work yet. You're too busy filling brackets out. When March Madness comes around,
No more fooling around. I gotta get back to work.
What's wrong with you? Get busy.
Okay, I will. It's 10:46, 14 before the hour QAM. I got a Doug Thompson article today. Aren't you excited about that?
Yes, I am.
Well, I don't want the people to think that just because I'm shutting the phone down for a while, for like the next 400 years, that I'm going to sit here and read the newspaper every day. That would be way too much. I don't want to overdo that. In fact, I'd rather sit here and eraculate, if I can say that. Maybe that's what that dog was doing. I keep checking during every break to see if Spazzing Spaz has resent me that YouTube video. It was very amusing. It was astonishing is what it was. It was shocking, I think. That would be the word. I was shocked. And then after you think about it, it was amusing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like coming into work in this place. It's shocking, and then you think about it on payday, and it's kind of like amusing, you know. Well, at least my check did show up on Monday. That was the good thing that happened on Monday. I can't think of anything else good, other than I did not jump off over the balcony. Not a good way to do it. I told you I was discussing that with. By the way, happy birthday, Dave. I called our mutual friend yesterday, and of course I had forgotten that March 27th was his birthday, and he said, "Didn't you call for another reason?" Like after 20 minutes of conversation. And I thought, let's see, March. Oh yeah, happy birthday. I'm just not really great on some of those things, you know.
Yeah, I use the old electronic calendar to fake my way through.
Do you? Oh, and you'll be pleased to know that all of the Cold Stone Creamery ice cream is certified kosher. It's kosher,
Boy!
Which I'm sure means it's kosher for Pesach, too. Tell Gary Sarter to go cold stoned, which is generally how he looks anyway. But every now and then I do have some stuff here that I want to pass along. Doug Thompson on Capitol Hill Blue, he's one of my very favorites because he opens up a mouth and he tells it like it is, and he doesn't hold back, and he doesn't care about the fact that they're going to come and drag his ass away at 3 in the morning some night, and we'll never hear from him again. He says, Senator Chuck Hagel, a conservative Republican who broke ranks with George W. Bush over the failed Iraq War, says senators on both sides of the political aisle now talk openly of impeaching the president.
All right.
Any president who says, I don't care, or I will not respond to what the people of this country are saying about Iraq or anything else, or I don't care what the Congress does, I'm going to proceed. If a president really believes that, then there are, what I was pointing out, there are ways to deal with that, Hagel said Sunday on ABC's This Week with George Stepp on top of us. Hagel has mentioned impeachment before, but this is the first time that he has said others on the Hill are talking about throwing Bush out on his corrupt ass. Oh, look at that. Here's a Norman Kent sending me a message. Well, isn't that great? From my crack agent. Okay, anyway. Sadly, Hagel and others may now realize that the only way to deal with a power-mad despot like Bush is through impeachment. Bush has made it clear he has no intention of honoring the will of the overwhelming majority of people who want America out of Iraq. He has no intention of obeying the law, upholding the Constitution, or even displaying an ounce of simple human decency.
Senate Democrats...
Bush is an out-of-control madman, a crazed zealot driven by a lust for power and an insane belief that he's serving the will of God as he leads a once great nation into the abyss. He is more dangerous to the security of this nation than any Islam-spouting terrorist or Middle Eastern dictator. The president who talks of defeating the axis of evil is himself the embodiment of evil. Evil.
Absolutely correct, sir.
The Muslim extremists who call the U.S. a great Satan aren't all that wrong. We're a nation currently led by a political Satan, a devil with a drawl, a satanic cowboy who's taken this country into hell. Non-binding resolutions won't stop a despot like Bush. Neither will withdrawal timetables that can pass the House but don't stand a chance in the Senate. And if by some miracle actually passed, both houses of Congress couldn't overturn a certain veto. It's too late for political posturing and legislative remedies. Bush must be stopped, and he must be stopped now. He must be removed from office by the swiftest legal means possible. That means impeachment.
Absolutely.
Nancy Pelosi must take the shackles off members of her own party who've already drawn up articles of impeachment against Bush. She must allow those articles to be introduced so the House can send Bush to trial before the Senate. Yes, I realize that impeaching and convicting Bush would hand the presidency over to Vice President Dick Cheney, the cold, callous mastermind of much of the Iraq war policy, but we must deal with one despot at a time. The survival of the nation is at stake, and that survival may well depend on the swift removal of George W. Bush from office before it's too late, writes Doug Thompson. You go, Dougie. Nice going, baby. And, boy, we'll send you flowers, okay? Whenever that funeral is, if they even announce where the hell it is. Okay, now, do you want to... Should I read this on the air, whatever Norma can't... Hey, Norma.
You fairy.
You bet. Let's bring everybody inside.
Now, let's see. What is this? Is this to me? Oh, this is from Joe Bell. This is the response from Jolly Joe Bell. I'll also be glad to prove you. I'll be late today, early tomorrow before I can put this together. I'm leaving the station, won't return until mid to late afternoon. Feel free to call on me if you want to discuss. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. It'll be late today, I guess I'm assuming yesterday, or early tomorrow before I can pull this together. Yeah, pull this, Joe. Jolly Joe. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, I could have easily on Monday, seriously, just gotten up and walked out of here and thrown 31 years down the toilet. And this is the kind of management, this is the kind of concern that Beasley Broadcasting and Jolly Joe Bell, who wouldn't know a talk show from his ass, this is the kind of concern that these people have. It's like wearing a jockstrap that's like sliced, you know, at the ass end and just doesn't hold nothing together. I mean, not going to get much support from that baby. See how notice how I sneaked the sports analogy in there? Jockstrap. See, I know well which side my ass is buttered on. 987 votes on the poll, so that was very informative, Norma. It told me absolutely nothing that I don't already know, and that is that they don't care and they're not going to do anything. And I'll just continue fumbling my way along and taking the money. That's all I can do. That's all we can do here at WQAM, because these people, as they say in Ethiopia, Gornish helfen, man. Nothing helps. 988 on the poll. We're going to be dangerously close to 1,000 by the end of this hour. Wow. Holy rat, man. Holy Rahman. And how come all those Nachman, do you know that's my name in Hebrew, Nachman? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Well, now you do.
I'm going to start calling you that.
It's not even 11 o'clock, and you learned something muy importante and informative on this show. And the price was right, too. It was free for all you malcontents out there. Oh, gee, Neil, when's George coming out of the closet, Neil? Same old tired crap, you know. So boring that it could put a Mexican jumping bean into a deep coma into a Kerry Shibo-like coma for 1,000 years. But anyway, here's the poll result so far. And this poll's not exciting either. And now all of a sudden this one's frozen. It's like going to the damn dentist again. We keep getting frozen, man. 988. I thought we'd be zooming up to 1,000 real, like lickety-split. Oh, I can't say that. Lickety-split?
Yeah.
Check with Joyce and see. Check if Joe Bell ever shows up again. For $1 million, I would. I hate this poll is up to 15%, 149. That's just them being nasty is what that is. That's the South Florida effing way. Just being nasty. Assuming, of course, that I really care about that. I don't care if 90% said I hate this poll. Because far be it from me to have to ask
you like it?
Like their permission, whether they're going to like the poll before I put it on there or not. Too bad. We just go ahead and stick it on there, and if you like it or not. For $1 million, I would vote Republican 122. No chance.
4 years after this war began,
Give up my favorite food for a year, 112. That would be a good incentive. I think I could give up ice cream for $1 million for a year. And it would probably keep me alive for a while, too. Work at WQAM, 106. I'd not have sex for a year, 100 for $1 million. I don't know. I think that's just not enough. Maybe for like 100 million? And, of course, at my stage of life, when you get to be this age, you can't afford to be, like, passing up a whole year. If you're some young punk, for a year, I guess. Wasn't that movie that Joshua, what's his name, was in? The one from Halloween Part 85? Hartnett.
Okay.
40 days and 40 nights and 40, whatever. He's not much. For $1 million, I would not have sex for a year, 100. Have gay sex, 93. And like I said, I'll do that for free. Right here in the studio. Live in South Florida, 82. Kill some people, 68. Not view porn for a year, 65. Likely story. Maybe 100 million. Not smoke for a year, 54. I guess George couldn't do that. All depend on what we're talking about. Smoke. Not smoke for a year, 54. And get married, 37. Now, let's see. I'm trying to figure this out. For $1 million, I'd get married, 37. So that being on the bottom, in other words, that's the worst choice? 93 would have gay sex before they get married, 37. Yeah, I'm trying to figure. Maybe that's why they hate the poll. They can't figure out what the hell it means.
That might be it.
Because, in other words, for the more votes that it's got, for $1 million, I would do, the least votes it's got means it's the least likely they would do. I'm trying to figure it out myself. Okay, let's take a look at that schedule. No Marlin game today, which is really kind of
nice
when you come down. We might keep an audience till, through the afternoon. We got Mad Dog at 2, Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together 4 to 5. The Humper at the Yenta Center, wow. At the Bank Atlantic Center. Now, let's see, that's the Yenta Center, isn't it? That's the Panther place. Am I right? I can't keep them straight anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Chris?
Yes.
Hank is going to be doing a show, and that's because we got a Panther game tonight. Is there any interest? Are the Panthers going to make the playoffs? Do they have any chance of making the playoffs?
No.
No, the Leafs cracked the crap out of Carolina, and Montreal won last night. The Panthers have 2 chances of making the playoffs. None, and much less than none. Zero.
No.
None.
No.
But anyway, the Panther preview at 7 o'clock. Panthers and the Thrashers from Atlanta, 7:30. Ought to be tremendous interest in that. Followed by game night with Jesse Agler after the hockey game, all the way till midnight before we go bye-bye, go Betty-bye. And then ESPN Radio at midnight when we invite everybody to say, so long, it's transmitter maintenance time.
Bill Rogers Show.
1,006 votes.
This is your brain.
How do you like that?
Any questions?
Even though they hate the poll. 1,006 votes. They hate it, but they like it. You know what I mean?
Congress is sending the White House a subpoena. Bush is wishing he played a little cleaner. Better get a lawyer for your crimes and misdemeanors. Here's your subpoena.
Republicans may have followed their leaders, but Democrats are sending a subpoena. The White House team and Cheney's team will testify before committees. No clemency, no mercy, no more presidential supremacy.
Congress is sending the White House a subpoena. Bush is wishing he played a little cleaner. Better get a lawyer for your crimes and misdemeanors. Here's your subpoena. Congress is sending the White House a subpoena. Bush is wishing he played a little cleaner. Better get a lawyer for your crimes and misdemeanors. Here's your subpoena.
Here's your subpoena. It's 11:01 at 560 WQAM. Barry Lando. Who the hell's that? He's former producer with 60 Minutes, and he's just published a book, Web of Deceit, The History of Western Complicity in Iraq, from Churchill to Kennedy to George W. Bush. And here's an article that I think might be of some interest to people who are, think this is more important than Dancing with the Stars. Although nothing is more important than that, is it?
No, what is?
Dancing with the Stars. I wonder if Ronnie Reagan Jr., the ballet dancer, is on there. Hey, Ronnie!
You fairy!
Bridge in the Gulf, what we don't know, writes Barry Lando. As always, our mainstream media is, I just got through reading, I'm interrupting myself, I'll get back to it in a second. I just got through reading the original email that Norma sent to Jolly Joe Bell, and that was today, by the way. That was not yesterday, that is today. So Jolly Joe is out until late this afternoon or tomorrow, and the beat goes on. In other words, there's, he's got other fish to fry. As always, our mainstream media is loath to reporting all sides to a dispute that's far more complex than our leaders let on. Despite Tony Blair's adamant denial that the 15 British sailors and Marines captured by the Iranians were intruding in Iranian waters, Commodore Nick Lambert, who headed the Naval Task Force, was by no means as categorical. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind that they were in Iraqi territorial waters, he said, but then in a statement he probably now regrets, he continued, equally the Iranians may well claim that they were in their territorial waters. The extended definition of territorial waters in this part of the world is very complicated. Britain's former ambassador to Uzbekistan, Craig Murray, who has become a vocal critic of the war in Iraq after citing Commodore Lambert's statement, wrote, before people get too carried away, the following is worth bearing in mind. I read as a former head of the maritime section of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the Iranians claimed the British soldiers had strayed into Iranian territorial waters. If they had, then the Iranians had every right to detain them for questioning. The difficulty is that the maritime delimitation in northwest of the Persian Gulf between Iraq, Kuwait, and Iran has never been resolved. It's not therefore a question of just checking your GPS to see where you are. This is a perfectly legitimate dispute in which nobody is especially at fault. There's nothing outlandish about Iranian claims, and we have no right in law to be boarding Iranian or other shipping in what well may be Iranian waters. The UN Convention on Law of the Sea carries a heavy presumption on the right of commercial vessels to innocent passage, especially through the straits like Hormuz and in both territorial and international waters. You probably won't read this elsewhere in these jingoistic times, but in international law, we are very probably in the wrong, he said. As long as the Iranians neither mistreat our Marines nor willfully detain them too long, they have the right. Murray also advises the Iranians to speedily release the captured sailors. The issue, however, will be even more difficult to resolve if indeed the capture of the Brits was connected to the ongoing detention of 5 Iranians from the elite Al-Quds Brigade of the Iran Revolutionary Guard. The London-based Arabic newspaper Al-Sharq Al-Answat quoted an unnamed military source close to the Al-Quds Brigade as saying the seizure of the 2 British patrol had been planned at high-level days in advance. The aim, said the report, was to take captives to exchange for the senior Al-Quds officers arrested by U.S. forces in Erbil in northern Iraq on January 11, 2007. According to another report, an Iranian diplomat claimed he had been told that the 5 would not be released prior to the Iranian New Year. They were not. As I mentioned in an earlier post, Barry writes, Iraqi authorities have also been asking for Americans to release the captured Iranians. Kurdish authorities who condemned the arrests claimed the Al-Quds officers were operating with the approval of the local Kurdish government. If the U.S. indeed is evidence that those Al-Quds officers were engaged in nefarious activities, why don't they present that evidence? They've been holding them now since January. Problem now, of course, is to find a solution that will provide the Iranians, the Brits, and the Americans a face-saving way out of a confrontation that risks escalating to a much more serious crisis, a crisis that would be welcomed by extremists in both Washington and Tehran. And there's Hank again.
Multiple sensitivity.
On CNN. Wow. What are you saying about multiple orgasms or something like that? That was incredible. 1,017 votes on the poll, such as it is. See, I'm tempted again. Force a habit. I almost started giving those numbers out again. Wouldn't that be a bad idea?
Yeah, it would be.
Well, no, I'm not asking like as if I'm going to change my mind. I'm just telling you that right up front. But I read that stuff there from Norma Kent and Joe Bell, and you know what it's like? It's like what that dog was doing, you know? It's like what the dog was doing without any pleasurable sensation. That's the problem. You know, at least the dog was having a good time. But it's like what he was doing with the same end result. Not much of anything. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the blind leading the blind. And, of course, it would be one thing if this was like some kind of a new phenomenon, if this started on Monday on the show and this is the first time that anybody had heard about this. How many eons has this been going on? Who did that song? How long has this been going on? Ace?
Yeah, very good.
Ace, yeah, Ace. How long? I love that. Have you got it?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
You are, as they say in America, my ace in the hole. Remember that? That was more bad acting by Eli.
I got it right up my...
Father 3. Ace. Hole. I see.
Well, I have an ace in the hole.
They're another one-hit wonder, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I see. How long?
Want to guess the year? Just for fun?
68.
And grins? Oh, geez, 75.
70, I knew it. Way off. Way off. How long, as they say in New York, how long has this been going on? And anybody could talk this way. I bet you Ricky Ticky is sitting out there laughing up his sleeve. Wouldn't surprise me. Man, sometimes I amaze myself. Wasn't that astonishing?
That was great.
I think that was shocking. It'll be on the front page of the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times tomorrow, and maybe even whatever they're printing in Moscow these days. That'll be on the front page of the International Herald Tribune. Rogers talks up a song he hasn't heard in 100 years, older than sawdust. How long has this been going on? So anyway, my point being that this is a situation. In fact, Somewhere over here I've got copies. Maybe I Schmidt canned them. I think I threw them out because I got so disgusted. I'm pretty sure I threw it all out. Of those silly letters that they sent out. If you don't stop doing this, we're going to come and pee on your lawn or something. If you don't cut the crap, it's very juvenile. These are not serious business people. Do you know what I mean? These are not people serious about doing business. They're just floating their way, faking their way through. They're assuming, especially this current regime, that because they came in and we had numbers, and the show was like doing 8s and 9s and 10s sometimes in men, and like Mandage and Hank once upon a time before they screwed the whole lineup up, were doing really good numbers. They assumed that they could just take the pieces of the puzzle, put it all back together again, and bada bing like that, bada bing, like Santino would say, make magic. Well, I think it rhymes with magic, but I think it's called tragic, is what they've done. Tragic. And I'm the one guy that comes here on the air and tells you exactly the way that it is. I mean, believe you me, I wish that it weren't. I wish I didn't have to sit here and talk such crap. And not do the show that I would like to do and that we ought to be doing. But, of course, we can't do it because this is WQAM. We can't get it done. And we're thinking about this and thinking about that. And, of course, Joe, when he sits in the magic room, he can't decide which hand to use to wipe with because he's got to pass it by Joyce first. We got to pass it by corporate legal first. Is it legal to wipe with your right hand on Wednesday or with your left hand? Or maybe alternating on Wednesdays, huh? You're laughing, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm laughing.
Paper tiger.
A
man without a kingdom. And as a result, we're spinning our veal. Maybe we ought to have Rick and Suds on with a wheel of meat. Spin that veal, baby. Those were the days. Trust me when I tell you, those were the days. And, of course, look what we got now. Pop had whatever we had there. I was going to say Disney, but that would be bad. Talking about Mike Disney, not Walt. 1,023 votes on the poll. Let's take a look at that result, man. They hate it. Well, it's under 15%. I guess that's going to be our goal today. We don't really have any number of votes that we really care about getting to because, who cares about that? That's old and corny. What we do care about is getting that, I hate this poll, under 15%'s a lot. Wouldn't you say?
Okay. That is a lot.
It's embarrassing to me. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with a poll. I think it's a fine poll. It's fine. And speaking of that, it's Woodbine Wednesday, so be sure and change that poll this afternoon. I already faxed it to Eric bright and early this morning. Let's see if the one I put on here for tomorrow's any good. Oh, yeah, I do like this. When Neil's show ends early because of Marlins baseball, I blank. And it's got a whole bunch of choices. Smash my radio with a hammer, sit in the dark room and pout, and it's got a bunch of other good choices. That's a good poll. And then it'll say, we hate it. We hate it. We hate you. We hate everything. We hate being alive, Neil, because we're here. We're stuck here, Well, it's the way it goes. Some of you are doing okay, and most of you are not. For $1 million, I hate this poll, 152, 14.8%. A dastardly number, if you ask me. Dastardly. What's the difference between bastardly and dastardly?
Oh, one's a little bit more Sunday appropriate.
Vote Republican, 127 for $1 million. Not this kid. No chance in my pants. Give up my favorite food for a year, 120. Maybe even give up ice cream. Sugar. Boy, that Breyer's score is so good. You ever had that?
I think I might have.
For $1 million, I'd work at QAM, 107. Not too long you would, though. Oh, there's those 100 immigrants coming up on shore there in Hallandale Beach. Well, when they realize how young they are compared to everybody else there, they'll turn around and go back. When they see that sea of blue hair. For $1 million, I'd not have sex for a year, 105. I'd have gay sex, 99. Live in South Florida, 84. Kill some people, 74. Not view porn for a year, 65. Yeah, we believe you. Not. And not smoke for a year, 55. Get married, only 37 for $1 million. I think George must be leading the charge on that deal.
Oh, I didn't vote for that.
No, but you what did you vote for?
Kill some people.
Oh.
I might do that for free.
Would you really? Now, don't start picking on anybody in particular, otherwise they're going to be calling corporate again. They said they're going to kill us, they're threatening our lives, and they're going on the radio and saying these things. Yeah.
Why are you jealous of me?
Oh, my God.
Why
That's right, I'm really jealous of some of these people that are willing to call this show and, and try to get a little bit of publicity.
Let me be on your panel.
And I'll bet. Anyway, 12 minutes past 11 at QAM.
Dumb as dirt.
And who, may I ask, is the father?
You hadn't been dead for a long, long time.
There's no circus here, my friend.
See your grave, people are standing in line. Well, when you kick the bucket and Larry cry.
They all handle themselves pretty well.
Larry's gonna get Danny Lynn, even though Howard tried.
It's a bumpy ride like the Old West.
Gonna do a bunch of tests to find out who's the pup.
I'm gonna review this.
Get your DNA from a chick in a box.
Every day is a new adventure.
The old man used to buy you rings, wrinkly dudes with lots of bling. You were weird, we all agree. Possess more drugs than a pharmacy. Get your DNA from a chick in a box.
It's crazy.
1, you gotta open the box. 2, get your DNA from a box. 3, you gotta close the box. And this is how we do it. Chick in a box. I was gonna lose a kid, a chick in a box.
I thought that's what we were talking about last week, that Chick-fil-A in a box, whatever that was all about.
By the way, speaking of in a box, they're starting with the poison fumes again.
All right.
And,
now we're talking.
Since I can't breathe to begin with, this is extra special today, you know.
How long is it going to take? How
I
many
don't
years
know.
is it going to take for them to finish that damn
the
roof
varnish,
up there?
the lamination, I don't know what it is.
Jesus, God and Joseph are crying out loud. It's like some kind of a freaking conspiracy. They're back up on the roof again. And God only knows what some kind of perverts are doing up on the roof. I'll tell you that right now. Ought to be tarred and feathered, if you ask me. Maybe that's what the tar's all about. Maybe we're tarring and feathering their ass. Maybe they got Joe Bell up there on the roof. Maybe they're going to hang him up there.
I climb right up to the top of the stairs.
I should just play the crying shames the rest of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Almighty. Well, what do you mean by that?
And that way I can turn the mic off and just sit here and cry. Or leave.
Just leave. Go out in the hallway and get some fresh air.
I'm sure it's no better out there.
Where did this come from all of a sudden?
I
thought
don't know.
that whole deal was over and done with.
Yeah, so did I.
Finito.
So did I.
Huh? Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It goes along with the ambiance. Well, go and tell Joe Bell all about it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He's not there. That's right. He's not there. He doesn't care anyway. It's not. I guarantee it's not in his orifice. In fact, it's shades of IOD all over again. You remember when we had the crud at IOD, the management types didn't really care because it wasn't happening in their orifice. So they could sit in the comfort of their air-conditioned orifice and not be choking and gagging and puking and dying. And what was happening with us, they don't care about us. That's the bottom line, okay? Any of you out there, if you work for somebody that actually cares about you as a living and breathing human being, I think even if you're only making like 4 cents an hour, I think you ought to kiss the ground right now. Kiss it, like Bubba would say. Kiss it, man, right now. Because most of the people you work for, they just don't care about you. You're a means to an end. They are pimping your life, is what they're doing. Isn't that a good way to put it?
Sure.
Yeah.
They're turning
pimping
you
your
out.
existence on the planet. And since we all have a limited existence, seriously, Monday,
you
I'm going to
bet.
tell you something. I came within a whisker. Even you don't realize how close I did. I'm not talking about jumping over the balcony.
Oh, good.
I'm just, no. Hey, listen, I've never even gotten out there yet, much less stuck a leg over
good.
the railing. I'm afraid of heights. I really am.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I told you that story. I don't know why. It started at Hazel Park Racetrack in Detroit. And I was up on one of the upper floors, and I was standing over by the railing and looking down, and all of a sudden I got really dizzy, you know? And what happens when you have that, what do they call that, fear of heights?
Acrophobia.
Is that it?
Yes.
Are you
Trust me.
positive?
Are you sure?
Well, whatever it is.
Joyce, you know.
And I look down, I start getting dizzy, and when that happens, you have to resist the urge to jump. I know it sounds very strange, you know, because you're supposed to be scared and terrified of the height, and you're looking down, oh, gee, I'm going to fall. But you have an urge to jump, and you hold onto the railing really hard, and you're squeezing that metal so hard that it's almost, the shards of metal are like getting into the palms of your hands, you know? Doesn't that sound really dramatic?
Okay.
I think it must have been after a really bad boat race at Hazel Park. But whatever the reason was, I was looking down, I got really dizzy. And from that day on, I had never had fear of heights before in my life. But from that day on, I became really nervous about it. And I remember one time, after that, going to New York City, and of course anybody goes to New York, and I took a couple of friends, whatever, and we go to the top of the Empire State Building. Now, have you ever been up to the top of the Empire State Building?
Almost to the top when we went, as far as they would let us go on that.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm not talking about on top of the antennas when you're getting ready to jump like
that's what I was
Godzilla.
balancing on top of the antenna there.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about as far as they let you go.
Yeah, where they got the little
netting. They have
netting.
those very high, whatever you'd call them, metal railing protectors.
Yeah, and like netting.
But boy, I'll tell you, that was not a good experience for me. I didn't want to look. Oh. kept thinking it's a long way down. Here's a fax that says, Neil God, I'm still listening, but I think you weaved out your good callers. Wow. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is what I need. You weaved out your good callers. When were those in? When you would get an actual caller, you'd cut the conversation short because it was usually on some topic you're tired of, the war, and in the cold, Vegas, Amsterdam. But the news is only showing us bullshit, the same crap over and over again. So maybe you get less interesting calls, but mix it in with a few cranks and some bedtime stories, you got a good balance. And then at the bottom, what does it say? Something about man cow? What does that say? I can't read it.
Well, go, man. I don't know.
I don't know what the hell
Go
it says.
Gators.
Yeah. Whatever the hell it says on there to you, okay? Yeah, I weaved out the good callers. That's right. Both of them. And these people, like even in the midst of Monday, that jerk that calls, Neil, we need to have you on the air because the propaganda and the right wing. Yeah, right. I mean, that's just as asinine as the people that are calling going, Prozac! It's just as ridiculous. Don't you understand how stupid that is? My being on the air here is going to change something? The war in Iraq is going to end because I'm sitting here talking to a bunch of mouth-breathing jackass aceholes? Are you out of your mind or what, huh?
No.
Well, there you go. Get a grip on reality, man. Get a grip on it, like that dog. And I keep looking out for that spaz guy on there, and he hasn't tried to send that thing again. That's happened to me not a lot of times, but there have been a few times when somebody will send me something from YouTube, a video, and I'll approve it, and then it won't go through. And then the little thing will come out, it'll say, there was a technical difficulty in approving whatever you were trying to approve, like that. Now, is that a MySpace thing? Is that censoring it?
I don't know about that.
How can they censor it? They can't be reading it.
Exactly. When they do the regular maintenance on pages, that's when they take out offensive things, but not before the fact. I mean, they don't have like a cyber censor.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. There's not somebody there watching it while you're watching it and laughing your ass off, and that would have been fun to put on there. It was a funny thing. I'm sure the dog thought it was fun, too. Evidently, he seemed very enthusiastic. 1,058 votes on the poll. Yeah, that fax was very, very illuminating and very uplifting, and stick it where the moon don't shine, okay? In fact, Joe Bell says you can wipe with both hands. He gives you his personal permission. How do you like that? It ain't going to happen. I'll take phone calls on this show again when we've taken care of a problem. And like I started saying before, just like Line 1 being out for 2 years. I mean, does that show you how fast these people are on top of these things? And Joe Bell tells Norma Kent, who is one of the worst weaklings in the history of the human race. Norma, it's embarrassing to me. You ought to be there, sitting at Joe Bell's desk right now, pounding on the door, screaming and yelling, like the screamer that you are.
You fairy!
But whatever, I'll take the money, Just butt out. That's my best suggestion. Just butt out, because it ain't going to change. I'll survive. How many months? I remember that time I went 7 months when I decided to get rid of the calls. And we did fine. The ratings were fine. Life was good. The show was like a real show. What we had here on Monday, just like that David guy sent. The David guy that got married?
Right.
And his life is probably ruined forever now?
Yes, it is.
But anyway, just like he said in there, Monday was the low point of I would say, of all the years I've been on the air. And we've had some, there's some bad shows every now and then. You can't help it. Not on my end, though. Of course, I'm always brilliant and legendary. But on the other end, when you're in South Florida, the material just isn't always there. It's weak. It's like Al Martino's voice. Weak. But Monday, I think, was as low as you can go. And that's why I just decided to shut that baby off. And we'll see if these people really want to talk turkey or, if they're just funning. I think that's all they're doing is just funning. They can't be serious. They cannot possibly be serious. It's just like when the guy first came in. You remember last year? It's a little over a year ago. 15 months, I would say. And remember how long before they did anything? And I kept screaming and wailing about when are they going to do something before the numbers drop into the minus column? When are they going to finally realize that we've got a major, serious problem? Remember that?
Right. It's a good thing they fixed all that.
Yeah, after the audience was all gone, and they decided, hey, maybe we'll put something on where they belong to be on. Priest with problems.
There's
Look
more
at
to
this.
the story.
That's unusual. A priest with problems. I never heard of such a thing. Not the priest that's got the problems, it's society that's got the problems because society doesn't approve of what they're doing. That's the problem. If society would just say, hey, you go ahead and alter all the boys you want, Pops, then everything would be just fine as wine. Things would be really...
Nice.
That's right. So society has the problem. Just like Joe Bell would probably say, there's no problem with our QAM or with our management. Neil's the one with the problem. And then, of course, that damn George. If we could just get through the summertime with a few of those good tapes and bypass George.
No problem.
1067. You know something? When we had the lunch and he kept bringing the thing up about the tapes, and Norma kept talking about me extending my deal, but only working 4 days a week, and on Friday you would work, and he kept bringing up the thing about the tapes, then I knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I was sitting across the table from a certifiably crazy person.
God? And now back to the Kenny and Bull Show on 560 QA, your homo headquarters for the speech impaired.
Hey, everybody, look, I get to fill in again.
Goldie, dude, we got JJ on the phone.
Okay, but first I want to say hi to my mommy. Hi, Mommy. Look, your Suskell is on the radio again. I'm on the radio.
Yeah. Me too.
Go ahead, JJ.
Whoa. I got a used up pickup over here. Whoa. And all punches poo.
Okay, JJ, you can go home now. I said go home now. Coming up, we got special guest Bernie Mac.
Who's he play for?
Oh, he's not sports related or nothing.
Then who is he?
Like I said, Bernie Coppell will be joining us to discuss the heartbreaker Snorri.
Is it Koppel or Koppel? Like Ted Koppel?
It's Coppell, not Koppel. Koppel will be on tomorrow. Whoa, look who we have on the line. It's Boopy Pinball.
Cute.
What time you got?
It's, the big hand is on the 12-part top. You know, and the little hand is on the...
What?
Yeah, I think it's 10.
Brief, go tell George we're going over.
Yeah, come on, man. Tell Neil to lighten up, dude.
Yeah, it's only a few more minutes.
We'll learn this radio situation eventually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. You know what else I love?
I'm making sounds with my mouth. 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 I'm making sounds with my mouth.
Is this the new format?
Yeah.
With my mouth.
Good morning show.
I'm making with my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
With my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
I want to plant azaleas.
All right. That's a little preview of the new morning show starting on Monday. The new and improved Kenny and Bo morning show. It's going to be a ball buster. 1077 on the poll. We're going to have 1100. No telling what we're going to do today, Chris, because we got a full 4 hours. 1078. Look at that. They're coming in. They're pouring in by the ones. And there's no sense in bemoaning our fate and sitting here. I'm not going to do that 4 hours every day, just for a few months, you know. But not every day. Maybe just on alternate Wednesdays. Woodbine Wednesday, I don't sound too enthused about it, am I? Because I'm due for, like, you know, if I would win a jackpot today, like $166,000 on a dollar machine, that would be good. Or like on the $5 machine, if I won to $366,000, which they've never paid it out even once in 5 years. That doesn't bode very well for what's going to happen. Or the 649 lotto tonight, if I already played it. I got my tickies in the other room. If I win the $25 million tonight, and of course that's a check. That's no punches pooled, baby. They write you out a check. No taxes, no deductions, no annuities, no BS, no games like they play in Florida with that phony baloney lottery crap. They write you out a check. And so it's Canadian currency. I'll take 86 cents on 25 million, wouldn't you?
Okay.
And if I win the 25 million, then I'm going to be down there on a plane tomorrow. I'm going to start spreading it around, just like old John D. Rockefeller, man. I'm going to start throwing dimes at everybody. That's what he used to do. He used to stand on street corners and hand out dimes to their schleppers to show off how much money he had.
Ooh, hey, big spender.
Big spender, baby. Mary Shaw writes, anti-gay, racist emails from an Army recruiter. Another one of those stories. From the tax dollars at work file, she says, Corey Andrew of New Jersey posted his resume at careerbuilder.com, like many of us have done from time to time. One of the responses he received was from a U.S. Army recruiter. Andrew wasn't interested in joining the Army, but instead of ignoring the overture, he responded by asking the recruiter, Sergeant Marsha Ramodi, if he was eligible to serve since he was a gay man. I'm glad he decided to go there because the ensuing exchange shed some light on a serious problem. And this comes so soon after General Peter Pace's homophobic comments. Coincidence? ? In any case, and you have to click here. There's a link to it for a very good blog post that goes into some granular detail about this. And be outraged. Sergeant Ramode wrote and sent these emails using her official Army email address. According to an article about the case in the Jersey Journal, if an applicant makes a statement that he or she is homosexual, the recruiter must inform the applicant in a professional manner that they're not eligible for enlistment. Keywords, in a professional manner. Does anyone believe that Ramode's tirades were communicated in a professional manner? And it's got the link again, and it says, then guess again. And since one of my best friends is married to a Native American, one thing in particular struck me upon reading Ramode's emails. She identifies herself as a Native American, even as she insults Andrew for being gay. Actually, as I understand it, in Native American culture, gays and lesbians are held in high esteem. I didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
It is believed that they embody both male and female spirits, and that's a really cool and venerable thing in their culture, and understandably so. I embody both male and female spirits.
I'm sure it depends on the tribe. You know, there were 500 of them.
Hey, you better watch yourself, you damn...
killer.
Sergeant Ramone appears to have some very deep and very serious issues to deal with. I hope she'll get some help and eventually find peace. I should have probably clicked out the link and all that. I could still do that. I could do it. But I'm not going to do it.
So I wonder how the gay Indians smoke a peace pipe.
1,082 votes on the poll. Why do you tear those things up, Neil? Why do you do that in the back? Why can't you just get a shredder? Remember that guy? That was another good call.
Oh, God.
You've weeded out the good callers, Neil, because you won't give them enough time to talk their intellectual garbage about the war in Iraq and all the other important stuff, and about our gay governor and all these important
all of these
things.
Look, you could write a book of just stupid quotes that you've heard on the phone, and it would be a bestseller. Nobody would believe it. They'd think you were making it all up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. Conservative Jewish seminary to allow gays. The seminary, which is considered to be the flagship institute of conservative Judaism, has decided to begin accepting gay and lesbians after scholars who guide the movement lifted the ban on gay ordination. Hallelujah. Arnold Eisen. Mr. Eisen, incoming chancellor for the Jewish Theological Seminary, on Monday said the decision was made after extensive discussion with students, a survey on views of the issues within the movement, and the school's trustees. The larger issue has been how we can remain true to our tradition, to halakha, Jewish law in particular, to all those bubble-mices, while staying fully responsive, immersed in our society and culturized, and said, hey, listen, go out and eat some kreplach, okay? Have a couple of matzah balls, baby. That'll make you Jewish. If you got real matzah balls, then you're Jewish in my book, especially if you're circumspect and circumcised. It's Jewish enough for me. The conservative branch holds the middle ground in American Judaism. Of course, the larger and more liberal Reform Jewish movement, as well as Reconstructionist wing, allows gays to become rabbis. The Orthodox, of course, bans gays and women from ordination. The Orthodox, the Farbischen, the real serious Getskis, man. The ones that force their kids to walk around with a beanie on their head so all the other kids will point at them, ha ha ha, look at Bobby, he's got a beanie on, ha ha ha, like that. Just like the Muslims with them damn... well, you see in Montreal now, there were a bunch of Muslim women wanted to go vote without lifting their veil. Yeah, and they said, we don't think so, okay? Even Jerry Veil ain't going to vote in here without showing his puss.
Maybe they could wear like a see-through veil, you know?
Yeah. I think they made him some veiled threats and said, cut the crap, okay? We're going to send you back to Osama Yamama. Send it back to Saudi Arabia where all the other terrorists are. 1084, man. Chris this morning, I don't know what that was all about. You think you're going to actually get in my will by doing things like that?
Nope.
By kissy like that?
Nah, that's okay.
See,
look, it was genuine.
What do you mean by
he
that?
hadn't. I think this is, you know, he's not used to going back and forth and working with other people and having the, you know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
So, like, once you've worked on this show for a while, and then you go back to the other world, then you really
we have
appreciate.
We have to physically go into the studio and shake the host by the shoulders and say, "Take the break, damn it, you idiot, you quisling, you
ferret."
Like that.
It looks like they're landing a 747. Everything but the flashlights are out, you know.
Well, now the flashlights get used sometimes.
Yeah. Well, flash this. I still don't have that dog thing, damn it.
It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. Abigail McGillen, an elderly woman, answered a knock at the door one day only to be confronted by a well-dressed young man carrying a vacuum cleaner. I'll say it again. The young man was carrying a vacuum cleaner. "Good morning," said the man. "If I could take a couple of moments of your time, I'd like to demonstrate the very latest in high-powered vacuum cleaners." "Go away," said Abigail. "I haven't got any money." And she proceeded to close the door. Quick as a flash, the young man wedged his foot in the door and pushed it wide open. "Don't be too hasty," he said to Abigail. "Not until you have at least seen my demonstration." With that, he emptied a bucket of horse manure onto her hallway carpet. "If this vacuum cleaner does not remove all traces of horse manure from your carpet, madam, I will personally eat the remainder." Abigail stepped back and chuckled and said, "Well, I hope you've got a damn good appetite because they cut off my electricity this morning. Paul Harvey."
All right.
Good day.
I like that. 14 till noon, maybe he had a hearty appetite. You never know. Maybe he was just hossing around. 1091 on the poll, 1,091 votes. We'll have 1,102 shakes of a lamb's tail. And you know something? I don't have any problem with this. Do you have a problem with it?
With what?
With the way the show is now.
No.
We had a stellar show yesterday. Now, I grant you, it was abbreviated. And, of course, we had a lot of help out there from some of my correspondents out there in Radioland with the, Cold Stone Creamery and whatever else we were babbling about. What else were we talking about yesterday? Mostly food.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that was a great article, by the way, Center from the Science for Pubic Interest, whatever that was, with all those big... the thing about the Cheesecake Factory is this. I was thinking about this in the shower this morning. Goes to show you me and my gluttony, even after eating all that ice cream yesterday. No, seriously, the name of that restaurant is not good. I'm sure they do a phenomenal business, and you're telling me that you can never get in there and it's always packed. But that's just a bad name for a restaurant.
You are correct.
Yeah. Because I was telling one of my friends about that the other day, and he said to me, "Oh, well, I really like cheesecake." And I thought to myself, well, because it's named the Cheesecake Factory doesn't mean that's what people go there to eat. It's just, they're famous for desserts, I guess, and gigantic, oversized everything. But it's a restaurant, right?
Right.
Now, did you ever actually get seated in there? I mean, get served, or did you get up and walk out?
No, we were hungry and we'd already put that time in, so eventually you get served. But both times it was the same thing, and it isn't getting a seat that's the problem. It's getting anyone to notice that you have gotten a seat.
Well, I would blow off a big balloon, something like that.
Oh, you get somebody's attention. You say, "Hey, we've been sitting here for half an hour." Nobody's
those noisemakers they have at parties,
And they say, "Oh, we'll send somebody right over," and then nothing happens.
They didn't say which year, though.
Right.
So tell me about the food, though, because it's just a bad name for a restaurant.
The food would have been good.
They don't need any help from me because they're like making money hand over limp wrist, but it just is a stupid name for a restaurant.
Right. The food would have been good if it had gotten to us in the hour that they made it.
Listen, will you stop?
I'm telling you, we got it. It was rock cold.
Oh, well, what was it you got? What was it? What is it that they have?
I had some shrimp dish. They have all kinds of stuff. It's fun, fancy foods. It's kind of like a TGI Fridays, but a higher scale.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, the food would have been good if we'd have gotten it in our lifetime. It was cold and stiff. The fries were petrified. You could have built a house.
Cold and stiff, man. There's nothing like cold and stiff.
Yeah, I know.
That's me. That is me. Monday afternoon about 1:30, I could have been cold and stiff. I could have been laying right out there in the balcony. Although the sun is shining. Now, yesterday we got up almost to 70 here, I do believe. I'm taking a look now. This whole business about spring. See, spring is one of those. Now, today, like it's 45. It's going to make it all the way to 48 today. Not such a big deal. Friday, sunny and 50. And then Saturday, all the way down to 4, which is 40. See, that's the way it is. Up and down, up and down. That's the springtime up north. A little variety for you. As opposed to like sunny and 80 every day and then getting ready for like another month or two, like, sunny and 100 every day and like 99% humidity. Stuff like that. Not that I'm knocking that. But you see the point I'm making, though, about what a dumbass name that is, because it leads you to believe that it's... I don't know what... I just never took it seriously, like that would be a restaurant.
It's got an industrial sounding name. It sounds like a place that makes cheesecakes, and it's not a restaurant.
Yeah. But I understand that the pieces of cheesecake are weigh like a pound a piece. They're just huge.
Never got that far.
The slices of cheesecake they bring and then, of course, they also sell the cheesecakes to take home. You have to bring Luca Brazzi to carry it for you because it weighs that much, but that's what I heard about it. I don't know, it sounds pretty good to me, in spite of the fact that you're bellyaching about it. It's no Olive Garden.
Haven't been there.
What, to the Olive Garden?
No.
Don't.
Based on what everyone says.
Don't. It's not even Italianish. It's not.
From the way people describe it, I envision...
No, you say that, but your memory must be getting really bad, because they brought us food one time. I think it was on IOD, I do believe, but that's a long time ago.
I don't remember that.
And then it was, you know what it was kind of like? Remember Fat Boy had that diner that he sold? He sold about 3 accounts on my show in the last 100 years. And his claim to fame was, oh, hey, I really do a great job of selling the Neil Rogers show. Pally. You know, that crap. And he never sold anything on the show. He sold a diner, and, of course, then they went out of business about 2 weeks later, and they sent food over to the station for us to try it. And the salad, the lettuce was so brown that it looked like, remember that bit I just played, the Paul Harvey thing, what the guy was eating? Mm-hmm. That's what it looked like. And tasted like, as a matter of fact. It just, wasn't too good. So anyway, the Olive Garden did exactly the same thing. I'm sure you were there. I'm positive.
Well, maybe I was.
It has gotten lost in the morass. Everybody wants morass. Yeah. It's gotten lost in the morass of your memory of all the free food we got over there.
That is not unlikely.
See, probably it's a good thing for Chris that we don't still have that going on, because he'd be a dead man pretty soon. He's trying to stay on the, under 400 pounds. Now, how are you doing on that? You keeping off what you lost?
Yeah, I'm still keeping it off, and I'm losing a pound or two at a time, so.
Well, that's good. You're losing a pound or two every time, like what, every month?
About every week or two.
Yeah. Oh, look at this, Norma Kent, something else. Boy, I'll tell you, he's busy today. Oh, I don't,
Hang on, close the window.
I'm never going to be the same. I'm leaving now. I'm never going to see you again. Bye, everybody.
Don't do it.
I want to, listen, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me right now. Because now I can share. Real friends share with their friends.
Yes.
I'm going to share with you. Didn't I just get through telling you about an hour ago about my phone conversation with my agent, attorney, and supposed good fag friend Norma Kent on Monday night, screaming and wailing about this QAM situation and about Joe Bell and Joyce and this whole company? Didn't I tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
So what he accomplishes that whatever it was, what was it, about a half hour ago or 45 minutes, he sends me the copy of the email he got from Jolly Joe Bell saying, well, I'm going to be out of the office and maybe late this afternoon, maybe sometime between now and next Sukkot, maybe I might do something about this or get back to you, So now what does he write on top of this? To show you how concerned he is about yours truly. See, this is a man who's on a lifetime ego trip. He lives, like so many people I know, in a fantasy world. He's like the Stan Major of fagdom. The founder and the original publisher of the Express Gay News, Fort Lauderdale attorney Norman Elliott Kent, has announced the launch of an online daily gay national electronic newspaper. Well, la-di-da, Norma, la-di-da.
You fairy.
11:09 on the poll, by the way. National. He sends me this. I mean, I don't begrudge him that he's doing it, but he sends me this, that I need to know this, that I need to aggrandize him on the air. NationalGayNews.com hit the web in force last week with a front-page story exposing possible homophobia in the operation of an international cruise line in which arbitrarily canceled a popular Bears cruise. The story can be viewed online with a link here. This week, the online paper revealed how a group of Christian students in Illinois are launching a counter-protest to a national gay drive amongst high school students to expose homophobia in secondary schools. Today's front page feature reveals how a divorced man wants to abate alimony payments to his ex-wife, a transsexual who now wants to become a man. On a lighter note, there is a feature about a European gay nude cruise from Italy to Greece. Stated Kent, the gay community can be an affluent, sophisticated, high-tech environment. It's my belief that a clean online publication which captures the breadth and diversity of our world will be very popular and inviting. I really don't want to give any long speeches. I want the product to speak for itself. Yeah, it speaks for itself, all right. The online newspaper will be filled on a daily basis. But is there an end to this? Does this go on forever? I'm reading this off my BlackBerry, and it just goes... It'll be filled on a daily basis with original writing, linked news sources, and columns on all aspects of gay and mainstream life. Links on the homepage generate connections to sports, lifestyle, science and technology, business, health, and HIV, as well as entertainment, and a host of other gay and lesbian-related interests. Like looking at naked pictures sounds good to me. But what are you smirking about? That's, interactive features will invite readers to submit their favorite pet photos. Oh, there you go. As well as images of a hunk and Amazon of the day. Or share their favorite website. Gay news feeds and a clearinghouse for national gay nonprofits and news media will also be posted online in the electronic paper. As he did with the Express starting in 1999, Kent is bringing substance to the paper immediately. Yeah, the same substance that the guy was trying to clean up with a vacuum cleaner. Contracting with Associated Press affiliates to present credible news stories from reputable journalists around the country. This goes on Oh, there's only 2 more paragraphs, thank God. We will still be a cross-section of our lives. There are nationally known gay columnists joining us and popular cartoonists to lighten the burden of each day. We want to start each morning reading your horoscope and the weather on a home page, he said. We are still building the site and laying the foundation, stated Kent. Our project is still being born. Yes, stillborn, I think, is the word. But the news doesn't wait, and when an entire segment of our population gets blatantly discriminated against in a wholesale manner, as we've seen with the bear cruises, we just have to go with what we got and get the word out there, says Norma Kent.
I'm super! Thanks for asking.
I'm delete, a delight. Norma, you silly goose, you simpleton, you
fairy.
Right. How do you like that? And he sends it to me. This is what he's busy doing with his time. With more power to him, okay? This is the same guy that told me when he sold his damn fag newspaper that he could retire for life. He had all this money now, you know. Cox ahoy's, Norma, okay? Happy Pesach to you, baby, and go away. Just go away. Don't go away mad. Just go away. Stay out of my life. Stay away from my friends. Stay away from my people. Stay away from my website. Stay away from my job. Stay away from my existence on the planet. Stay the hell away, okay, Norma? Do not call here. Do not write here. Do not email me no more. Go away, little girl. Remember that song, Go Away, Little Girl? Steve Lawrence.
Steve Lawrence?
Yes. Well, Donnie, who else did it? Donnie Osmond?
Well, that's who I know it by.
Did Donnie do it? Donnie was on my show one time, but he was already hairy and old by that time. Oh, yeah. Is this
Both
the
of
original?
them. This is the original.
On
Except
Coral
no
Records,
substitute.
Steve Lawrence and Go Away,
Void where
Squirrel.
prohibited.
Go away, little girl.
Stevie Lawrence and Edie Gorham, as the guy said.
Go away, little girl.
I liked Steve Lawrence. He was Jewish and he was kind of cute, too.
I'm not supposed to be alone.
Hey, Stevie. Well, I can't believe you got that.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
1,118 votes on the poll. I'll tell you, Norma, you made my day. That was the epitome of my relationship with my lawyer, agent, goofball, silly fag person, Norma Kent, who's all about Norma. You know, he'd like to put on a big song to dance about, you know, what he's doing for Neil and blah, 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 and his emails to Joe Bell and all his calls with Joyce and, you know, all the other stuff. Right. Stay the hell away. That's my suggestion. Just stay away.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Tonight on Fox Nazi News, a special report we wrote all by ourselves.
Iraq, Saddam Hussein, Osama Obama.
The Democrats' golden boy. What you don't know about Iraq, Saddam Hussein, Osama Obama may surprise you. As a boy, he went to mattress in Mr. Wilson's all-night mattress store and practiced Wahhabism as a hobby, all the way to Kemosabe. He kidnapped Lindbergh's baby. He was the mystery man on the grassy knoll. Saddam Hussein was his uncle. And if you look closely, you'll realize his real father was Jack Webb. Plus, an infuriating and typically uninformed commentary from one of our garden variety, hard-looking bleach blondes handpicked out of our stable of Republican blondes that put out easy and appealed to our elderly and drunk right-wing viewers. Fox Nazi News. 30% of the truth for the 30% of you. Watch and obey.
About 30, man.
1203 at 560 WQAM. We got 1,130 votes on the poll. I think 13 is given today, don't you? 1,300?
Yeah.
Chris, on the other hand, is, you know.
Well, he'll pretend to be more excited about it.
No, he doesn't have to pretend. Not after that performance this morning. When he asked permission to kiss my ass, that was just amazing. Were you in there when he did that?
Yeah, I was in here.
He said to me, "Can I kiss your ass?" And I said, "Sure."
Listen, I ran for the mop right away, even though we have carpet.
Like that, yeah, it was disgusting.
I ran for the shop vac, the wet dry vac.
Okay, now it's interesting because I think we've only had, because I hear another fax coming over the thing now.
Yeah.
And we only had one, and this is short and sweet from a regular faxer, but we only had the one, and of course that was a critique about, well, you know, you chased away the real callers. There weren't any real callers, okay, you jackass? There haven't been any real callers in 9 years since we've been on this radio station. Then here's a fax, also more a suggestion. It says, "Hey, Neil and George, it always baffles me that your nut job callers stay on hold." No, they don't. We don't put them on hold. They keep the phone ringing. We don't put anybody on hold. To make a sound, then they try to call right back. The good calls are few and far between. That would scare me if I were you and George. What does that mean? That would scare me if I were you, or if... Can you make this out?
No, I was hoping you could interpret that.
As far as the cheesecake goes, you hit it right on the head. It can be great. Food is very California with a huge selection of dishes and drinks. Can be a decent people-watching restaurant at Dayland or the Grove. What about in the Sawgrass? That's the one out there by my house. Oh, and look at this. The Tony Snow I know believes in the power of kneel, God, and prayer. Isn't that cute? What is this supposed to be funny?
I think it's funny to us. I think it's supposed to be serious. The person that wrote it is serious.
Yeah, but it's so obvious that they've inserted the word kneel in front of that they've...
Kneel, God!
Isn't it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, look at the print type. It's not even the same print type.
Oh, I see.
So whoever decided to put this together is another amateur comedian who wasted a lot of time because I'm not going to read it. I'd rather read Norma Kent's email that I already deleted about his online fag newspaper, whatever it's going to be. See, he doesn't have time to be worrying about Neil Rogers' show and about small things like that, about his number one client, because I already paid him for this year a nice big fat check, so he can't be worried about stuff like that. He's worried about being the great Cape Crusader, okay, on the internets for all the fag news that's fit to print and some that isn't, I'm sure. I mean, you know, more power to him. That's fine. I have no problem with that in his spare time, which evidently he has a lot of. 1,135 votes on the poll. I got such a headache from reading that thing of his. Oh, don't you?
Yeah.
As they say in Yugoslavia, which is coming back, by the way, next year, they're going to put it back together again. I have a bad Kopfetik. Edwards gains support as he remains in the race. Americans by 2-1. Isn't that what they say in the locker room if they have aching loins? I have a Kopfetik. If they're hurting in the cup. And I still can't. That spazzing spaz. You know, this is what really gets me about that. Man, maybe he lost it too. That
Cube
video that he sent me. Maybe it just went vanishing off into outer space somewhere. I'm sure not, because you know, if he sent it to me, then he's got it, right?
Right.
He's got a hold of it. Maybe he just can't find it anymore in between the folds of fat. I mean, you saw the picture of that guy, and he's a good guy to watch. He's a big fan. He sends us a zillion things. He's in Hialeah, which I feel sorry for him, you know. Mm-hmm. But God, if he don't weigh 1,000 pounds, I mean, he's got fat in places where it hasn't been invented yet. Good God.
Rectum.
Yeah, on the inside, rolls of fat. Americans by 2-1. See, I don't understand a poll like this. It's stupid. Support the decision by former North Carolina Senator John Edwards to stay in the Democratic presidential race, even though his wife Elizabeth has been diagnosed with a recurrence of breast cancer. In the telephone poll, taken Friday through Sunday, just after they held that news conference, questions about the Edwardses were asked to half of the sample, had a margin of error plus or minus 5 points. And he got a boost in the horse race of Democratic contenders because he now is up to 14%. He gained 5% because of the sympathy vote. She's got cancer, therefore it makes all the sense in the world we should support John Edwards. Doesn't that make sense to you? Sure.
Why not?
He's up to number 4 behind Swillery at 35, Barack Obama 22, Al Gore 17, and John Edwards 14. Nobody else has got more than 3%. Democratic pollster Mark Mellman, who's not affiliated with any candidate, says the bump Edwards got is understandable. In the crucible of crisis, people make judgments about a candidate's character, and there's a lot here in which people can make important judgments about Edwards. I don't know. This confuses the hell out of me. Do you understand that?
Nope.
His wife's got cancer. It came back again. We feel bad about that. We don't wish that on anybody. She never stole a freight train. Neither did he. But how does that make that Yahoo from Nothing Could Be Finer down there in Carolina? How does that make him more qualified to be president?
If you vote for him, God will cure her.
Oh, is that what it is?
Sure, that's what they're implying.
Oh, I thought that's...
Oh, God!
That's the one that Tony Snow believes in. 1,141 votes on the poll. It's Woodbine Wednesday. And I just, maybe if I win some today, I'll be a little more animated about it. I was feeling really exhilarated yesterday and again today until I got that thing from Norma Kent. He started off with the email from Joe Bell, which is depressed. See, every time, I don't know why I called him Monday, because I was already depressed. I was already suicidal, So why did I call him?
I don't know.
Just to vent, I guess, just because somebody to scream at. And I did. And then why did I read that email? Why did he do that? Just to be depressing, to show me that Joe Bell doesn't give a crap and he's not, not getting any urgent response because it's been going on for months and months and years and ages and an eternity, and nothing is going to happen and nothing is really being done except bada beep, bada boop, bada bop, the usual, tap dance.
And then I get this 84,000-word press release. You know, it's really interesting. When I had my 31st anniversary on here in South Florida, my agent/attorney, I don't believe, wrote any press release to the media announcing that Neil Rogers on March 1st had 31 years on the air in the market, blah, 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 and longer than any other talk host in the history of the market, blah, 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 and all of these things. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that wouldn't have been so self-serving as writing about some enterprise that he's obviously starting and financially involved in. It wouldn't have been as self-serving as this crap. Goodbye, Norma. Go away, little girl, okay? How many times have I said that on the air before, but not enough times, and not seriously enough? I could have been a contender, man. You do realize that. Of all people, you do understand.
I do.
I could have been a contender. I could be on Sirius, XM, PM, FM,
You're not just
AM.
a bum.
Yeah, I could have been a contender.
Which is what I am.
And look what I got. Howard's got, what's his name? What's his agent's name? Don
Buchwald.
And look what I got. 1,145 votes on a poll. We got 1,300 made in the shade today, baby. And that's not too bad for a Monday. I mean, it's not a big Simus. Or did I say for a Monday? For a Wednesday? Oh, not that my brains are fried this week. You do understand that. And, of course, the best part of it is that those people, those half a dozen morons, aceholes who are, you know, the killers of the telephone, they're sitting out there thinking, oh, boy, we really got him. Yeah, sure. You ought to see the size of the check that just went in the bank on Monday. Then you'd say, oh, boy, we sure got him. Oh, geez. Ought to take a look at the size of it. I know it makes me cry.
Of exploding balls.
Simon Cowell of the hit Fox series American Idol.
Up front, in your face.
Last year, a former contestant had an affair with Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
She gave him special treatment. Corey Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to calls. Wakanda, Illinois. Hello.
Hi, Simon.
Hello, what's your name?
Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Listen, I heard you got nipple implants.
I did, yeah.
Oh.
They're great.
So that's why they always poke through your shirt?
Yeah?
Yeah.
The gruesome twosome.
Vancouver, British Columbia for Simon Cowell. Hello.
Hey, Simon, I heard a rumor you're the father of Anna Nicole's baby. Is that true?
Yeah.
It was your baby?
Mm-hmm. Simon's baby.
Join us on the phone is Julie Cowell, Simon's mother. She joins us from London. She is 80 years young. Are you there, Julie?
Yes, Larry.
Hi.
Simon, you're a rotten son.
Is there one thing you can tell us about Simon that we don't know?
Yes. When Simon was born, he was so ugly the doctor slapped me.
You know what? In real life, is he nasty?
Yes. If I had known then what I know now, I would have replaced my Vagisil with super glue.
Go back to sleep, Mom.
All right. Crazy glue sounds like a wiener to me. 1,154 votes on the poll. Now, here's an interesting fact. It says, any chance you could keep broadcasting your show on the Internet tomorrow during the Marlins exhibitionist game, since WQAM doesn't broadcast the game over the Internet anyway? Here's the answer. No. We don't broadcast the game on the Internets?
I don't know.
Chris?
No, it's against Major League Baseball regulations.
It's against Major League Baseball regulations? I think I'm going to have a regurgitation about that regulation. So what the hell does that mean?
That means that if you want to listen to a Major League Baseball game over
you have to listen to like Sirius
Internet,
XM, you have to pay for it.
No, well, if you want to listen to it on the Internet, you have to pay Major League Baseball.
They'd have to pay me to listen to it. A lot. Are you schmitting me? So what do we have on there? Just dead air? Or we keep playing those same two promos over and over again?
Exactly.
For the round table and the square table and the Kenny and Bo morning abortion and all that other stuff.
I'm making sounds with my mouth.
Oh, yeah. In fact, you know something? That's not a bad idea. We might just, in case anybody missed that earlier, we might put that like on an endless loop.
Oh, God.
If I can find it. Oh, and you know what else I didn't play?
WQAM. I'm making sounds with my mouth. 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 I'm making a sound with my mouth. I'm making sounds. I'm making with my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
With my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
I want to plant azaleas.
Right. I think that's a hit. I think we got a winner, baby. Monday morning starts 7 a.m. In fact, let's get rid of that big O crap, you know? 5 to 10 a.m. with that. It's called making sounds with our mouth. No punches pooed. That's what I'm hearing. Well, that's beautiful. Oh, here we go. John Nichols. There's been a whole bunch of these. See, I haven't been doing my duty in reading these scintillating articles for a long time. I really don't know why. Why is that? That's because I've been taking all those brilliant phone calls. And also reading. Norma Kent, go away. That's I thought about that during the break for about 10 seconds. Go away. Stay away. Get out of my face. I should send an email to Joe Bell and say, as of 12:20 p.m., on Wednesday, March 28th, Norman Kent is no longer my agent, attorney, and have nothing to do with him, and I don't want to talk to you. How's that?
All right.
You think that's
going to hire, what's his, Buchwald?
I'm not going to hire anybody. What do I need anybody for?
To negotiate that lifetime contract.
For $1 million, I would. That's our poll today, and look at the way it's turning out. Not the way we wanted. 1,156 votes, and we got 15.3% say, I hate this pool. That sucks, okay? I don't want to be too blunt about it, but let me just, dance around, tiptoe around the edges of it. That blows. It sucks. 1,156 votes. For $1 million, I would give up my favorite food for a year, 137. Vote Republican, 137. Work at QAM, 116. Don't do it. Life is too short. Have gay sex, 116. Send some pictures. Not have sex for a year, 115. Live in South Florida, 93. Kill some people, 78. That's what George wants to do. Not view porn for a year, 72. Not smoke for a year, 68. And get married, only 46. For $1 million, only 46 people out there would get married. Pretty sad commentary on the great American institution. Well, it's not an American institution. It's a worldwide institution. In America, it just didn't last too long, that's all. Boy, I just, on the verge. Every now and then I get on the verge of giving that number out, Right on the tippy toe. I thought I was going to start making sounds with my mouth. Yeah. You know what that sound is. 5, 6, uh-oh. Uh-oh, sounds like that phone number. Don't be doing that. Now, what's that other thing? Oh, wait a minute. Let me find that one. Because that's certainly a classic. And then there's also... No, it's not. The Scream Loop.
Oh, what are you looking? The Scream Loop? Oh, that one.
Like that.
I'm making sounds with my mouth. I'm making sounds with my mouth. I'm making sounds with my mouth.
We could do this easy till midnight.
Sounds with my mouth. I'm making sounds with my mouth.
I'll guarantee you, if they would play that instead of the ESPN radio overnight, we'd have a 40 share. If they would play just that and this, interspersed. Don't you think?
I think it's a hit. I think it's a big, fat hit.
A big, fat, boobied hit. Yeah, I agree with you. Another fax coming over the machine right now. See, if the audience was really into this whole thing, we'd be inundated with faxes with some material as opposed to just, well, I think that the calls, and you chased away the good calls, and yeah. Sure we did. Let's see. The best steak you'll ever eat, this is from Pedro. Thanks, Pedro, is the Cajun ribeye that they serve in the Cheesecake Factory. That's what Pedro says. They marinate it for 36 hours. Uh-oh. They marinate it for 36 hours in a special Cajun mix, and it's better than any steak I've ever had in Christie's, Smith & Wollensky's, Ruth Chris, The Forge, Yuck, it says, etc. It says it melts in your mouth. Cajun ribeye. That sounds really tempting to me, don't it?
Oh, yeah.
What? You sound pretty lukewarm on it.
No, it does sound good.
They marinate it for 36 hours in a special Cajun mix. That's how you have to say it, Cajun, not Cajun.
Cajun.
I can say Raging Cajun. Cajun, which means you're like illiterate and you're probably from New Orleans or somewhere, or like in the House Bayou, in that area, in that neck of the woods. 1161 on the poll. I probably should. I can play the talking, making sounds with our mouth, and then reread the Norman Kent email a couple of times. We'll be all done. We'll be right up against it. John Nichols writes, getting serious about the I word. I started to tell you, he had a whole series of these articles about impeachment. The only problem with this one is it's too long. Not too long to read, just too long for right now. So what I'll do is do the break. Just giving a little heads up to Chris, who was kissing my ass this morning for always doing the breaks right at the same time and on time and being like a real, kind of like make-believe professional broadcaster. As opposed to some dumb ex-jock who hasn't got any idea what the damn microphone is or how to even turn the mic on. When you got somebody that don't even know how to turn a microphone on and pretend to be a broadcaster, you know that it's only, like Conway Twitty would say, make-believe. You know what I'm saying? It's make-believe.
Don't make me play that, though.
What is it?
Don't make me play it.
Oh, you got it.
I have it. I hate Conway Twitty.
Why is that?
I think he's...
You mentioned that a week or two ago, how
gritty.
you hate Conway Twitty. What did he ever do to you, man?
He was a bad singer who sang bad songs, and he was ugly.
Was he kind of Twitty?
And he had bad, big, goofy-looking hair.
He had a buffo. Yeah, he had a buffo on his head, yeah. He was kind of Twitty and a little on the Schmitty side. An Elvis wannabe, you know. And, of course, as much as we do not care for Elvis on his show, when it's an Elvis wannabe, what does that say?
Yeah, did I mention he was ugly?
It's like being a Steve Lappa wannabe.
Oh, God. To law. This John Edwards, this pretty boy, this Tommy leftist ambulance chaser, he has made his wife get cancer just to win an election. You know, I got to tell you, my friend, this is a new low for the Dems. He is capitalizing on his wife's illness to jumpstart his presidential run. Just like he used the death of his son to fire up his ill-fated 04 campaign. I say friends a lot, don't I? I tell you, I can imagine all I like with the money I make. Who cares if I don't have any? For I am the voice of the 29%, purveying homespun wisdom and Christ-like moral virtue. Just ask any of my 10 ex-wives. If you pay to view my webcam friends, you can watch me flail my fat little arms around in a brightly colored pullover golf shirt with mayonnaise stains on it. See? Here I am, trying to validate what I'm talking about. But don't let my blubbering fool you. I spent many years toning these atrophying muscles in my youth, queuing up records. Oh, and one other thing, my friends. May I remind you that I did offer to serve my country by signing up for Dancing with the Stars, but was declined for having a pimple on my fat, drug-addled ass.
Rectum. Oh, a lot of those pimply asses going around these days. Must be catching, must be rubbing off. 1231 at 560 WQAM. Wait till you hear this. Bad news. Not really, because I don't really care about any of these people. Country music star Winona Judd.
Yeah.
Said she filed for divorce yesterday from her estranged husband, Dan R. Roach, after his arrest last week in Texas on sex charges involving a minor.
All right.
Roach, 49, was arrested. Well, they're country stars, man. They're country stars. This is from Nashville. Incest is best, baby. Roach, 49, was arrested Thursday in Abilene and charged with 3 counts of aggravated sexual battery against a child younger than 13 in Nashville.
All right.
He was expected to be extradited to Nashville, said police spokesman Don Aaron. It wasn't known if he had an attorney. Well, Norma's not busy. He's busy doing online fag stuff. I'm obviously devastated, the 42-year-old country singer said in a statement on her website. Our family will pull together, begin the healing process, and hopefully, by the grace of God, become stronger. We'll move forward with our faith, family, and our friends to find resolution to this difficult situation. Isn't that what it always is? You know, it's always back to that faith and bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, all that BS, all that Getchke stuff. Aaron said an investigation by the Department's Sex Crimes Unit started in February. Judd cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for divorce in the complaint filed in the Nashville suburb of Williamson County. Roach had been receiving treatment for drug and booze addiction at a rehab clinic in Buffalo Gap, Texas. They have no children. Judd's got children from a previous marriage. Judd has sold nearly 30 million.
About 30, man.
Albums as a solo artist. That's pretty sad commentary. She sang with her mother, Naomi Judd, as the duo The Judds. Or is that The Jugs? Her solo hits include No One Else on Earth and I Saw the Light. Her sister is actress Ashley Judd. I wonder if she's kin to Judd Law.
Cute.
No. 1,185 votes. We got 1,200 licked by the end of this hour. We're going to make 1,300 today, okay? They're going to be writing about it in newspapers all over the world. Anybody believe it?
No.
So let's see if we get any more emails from Norma Kent. You know something? I'm almost back to where I was on Monday again. You know, such a great comeback. I'm not talking about jumping off the balcony. I'm just talking about the depression setting in. It's just a feeling of uselessness and hopelessness. You know, I mean, this is, and of course, whose fault is that? Whose fault is it?
Oh God!
That I've stuck with this Schmendrick for all this time. You saw the phenomenal job. Howard Stern had his Sirius guy call me. Remember that? Not call Norm Kent. Call me. When Stern was first leaving regular radio and going on to Sirius, and they wanted me on that thing badly. Howard wanted me on there. And we handing that over to Norma Kent to make that deal would be like handing an Uzi to a 3-year-old child, a fully loaded Uzi, and saying, go out in the yard and have a good time. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I did it because I'm dumb. Well, that's the way it goes. At least I admit I'm dumb, you know. That's me. Too many years in Florida, I think, did it. I used to be smart like Fredo. John Nichols says former Republican Congressman Joe Scarborough had me on his MSNBC show tonight, meaning Monday, to talk about impeachment. It was a smart civil discussion that treated the prospect of impeaching the president as a serious matter. Scarborough took the lead in suggesting that Bush's biggest problem might be that Republicans in the House and Senate, who, fearful of the threat Bush poses to their political survival, do not appear to be rallying around the president. The host sentiments were echoed by 2 other guests, columnist Mike Barnacle and Salon's Joan Walsh. The impetus for the show was Nebraska Senator Chuck Hagel's ongoing discussion of the impeachment prospect. Hagel's not quite a supporter of sanctioning Bush, more a speculator about the prospect. And a new column by Robert Novak that suggests Bush has dwindling support within the congressional wing of the GOP. Speaking about impeachment on ABC's This Week, Hagel said, any president who says, I don't care, or I won't respond to what the people of this country are saying about Iraq or anything else, or I don't care what Congress does, I'm going to proceed. If a president really believes that, then there are ways to deal with that. Novak wrote, the I word incompetence is used by Republicans in describing the Bush administration generally. Several of them I talked to described a trifecta of incompetence, the Walter Reed Hospital scandal, the FBI's misuse of the Patriot Act, and the U.S. Attorney's firing fiasco. We've always claimed that they were the party of better management, one House leader told me. How can we claim that anymore? Scarborough drew the 2 statements together for the purpose of asking whether Bush could count on Republicans to block moves by congressional Democrats to hold Bush to account for high crimes and misdemeanors. Impeach his ass, baby. When a conservative commentator who was on the front lines of Newt Gingrich's Republican Revolution entertains a thoughtful conversation about the politics and processes of impeachment on a major cable news network, it should be clear that the cloistered conversation about sanctioning this president has begun to open up. No, Scarborough's not jumping on the impeachment bandwagon. He's simply treating the prospect seriously, as did CNN's Wolf Blitzkrieg earlier in the day. What I told Scarborough is what I've been saying in public forums for the past several weeks. We're nearing an impeachment moment. The Alberto Gonzales scandal, the undercovered but very real controversy involving abuses of the Patriot Act, and the President's increasingly belligerent refusals to treat Congress as a co-equal branch of government are putting the discussion of presidential accountability onto the table from which House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has tried to remove it. Does this mean that Bush and Cheney will be impeached? That, of course, will be decided by the people. Impeachment at its best is always an organic process. It needs popular support or it fizzles, as with the attempt by House Republican leaders to remove former President Clinton in a process that, fairly or not, seemed to be all about blue dresses. While the people saved Clinton by signaling to their representatives that they oppose sanctioning a president's personal morals, it doesn't appear that they're inclined to protect Bush. With each new revelation about what Gonzales did at the behest of the Bush White House to politicize prosecutions by U.S. attorneys, the revulsion with the way the president's disregard of the Constitution and the rule of law becomes more intense. And citizens are not cutting their president much slack. A new USA Today Gallup poll conducted over the weekend shows that by a 3-to-1 margin nearly, Americans want Congress to issue subpoenas to force White House officials to testify in the Gonzales case. 68% of those surveyed say the president should drop his claim of executive privilege in the matter, while only 26% agree with the reasoning Bush has used to try to block a meaningful inquiry. If the president wants to get in a fight with Congress over how to read the Constitution, it appears that the people will back Congress, and that backing is what will begin to restore the backbones of House members who, despite Pelosi's attempts to quiet talk of impeachment, are getting more and more intrigued by the prospect of holding this president to account. As Hagel says, this is not a monarchy. There are ways to deal with executive excess, and I hope the president understands that. If Bush doesn't recognize this reality now, he soon will, says John Nichols. He's got a new book. It's The Genius of Impeachment. The Founder's Cure for Royalism. Impressed by that?
Okay.
I knew you would be. 1,190 votes. Well, we got 1,300 look today. That's not too bad. What day is it? On a Wednesday. Well, no, see, I get confused because we got all those great Marlin ball games on. When the hell does the regular season start? Next week, I believe? Isn't it next week?
The first, I believe.
Sunday is the first. Are you telling me that the regular season's going to start on a Sunday? You got to be kidding me.
Well, like they'll have that first game, and then the Marlins should be on
Like the
Monday.
Reds and somebody. Who cares about the Reds? They used to be the Cincinnati Redlegs. And then during the 50s, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. Little piece of trivia. During the 50s, because I'm old, when they had all the communist witch hunts going on, all the red baiting going on, they stopped calling them the Reds and they called them the Redlegs again, which is what they were like 6,000 years ago, the Cincinnati Redlegs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like red bone. I wonder if I ask Calder Rossi if that's like red bone. Ever have a red... Well, anyway.
No.
So, me either.
Although this one time...
Red legs. For a short period of time, and I said, "Boy, that's really embarrassing. And that's really bad." It would be like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, all that Simmons they had over there with all those religious freaks, those nuts, religious nuts. There's another redundancy for you. Crazy people, like that. Devil Rays, you can't say that. That's like Satan, man. Satan's out there on the ball field. Really sad. But then again, that's Tampa. That's Florida for you. And that thing about that story about Nashville, man, and all that inbred crap going on, that's most of America. You know, they talk about the red states. What about the red bone states? 1193 on a poll. When we come back from the break, it's 1200, and the sky's the limit.
It's packing. I know this show is going to shock a lot of people. Nicole Kidman and Julia Roberts. The hidden lives of gay wives.
So, you're gay?
Yes.
Yeah. Both gay.
Yes.
Living two lives. Married to a man and in love with a woman.
Yeah.
Nikki, so how did coming out change your life?
I went into this state of calmness, and that's when I realized that my conscience was clear.
Their wedding made headlines around the world. Nicole Kidman married country star Keith Urban.
And then she fell in love with a woman. Did he kick you out?
Yeah.
Really?
Big emotions.
Okay.
Big emotions.
Okay. How long had you known you were gay?
So much of my life.
Always known.
Uh-huh.
You truly like having a girlfriend.
I do.
What would you say to her?
You're one of the softest people inside that I know.
I'm going to start crying.
And she's kind. She's a kind girl. I love my mommy.
Yeah, I just would say to anybody, whatever secret you're holding, live your own truth. I had a lesbian affair with a woman that lasted nearly 3 years. Hot animal lust. I'm gay. Yep.
Wouldn't that be something? Does anybody care?
No.
Absolutely not. It's 12:45. 11:98. I thought we'd be at 1200. Didn't you? After the break.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. That's the way we look at it here at QAM. Whatever. You know, that's just the way it is. NATO's. This is kind of interesting. We don't want to go here. Kandahar. NATO's potty rule shuts out Afghans. Under a bizarre policy that echoes the days of segregation in the U.S., Afghans who work at the NATO base at Kandahar Airfield must use separate toilets marked local nationals only. Several Afghans told a Toronto Globe and Mail the practice is insulting, but they're dependent on NATO for their livelihoods and reluctant to speak out. Lieutenant Colonel Jack Blevins, the U.S. officer in charge of administrative contracts, said the segregated toilet policy exists because the bathroom habits of the Afghans are different from those of the North Americans and Europeans who work at the base. Do we really want to go here?
Yeah, you go, girl.
So to speak. That's what they say when they approach the door. Do we really want to go in here? We've always had this policy, Lieutenant Colonel Blevins said. It's not based on a racial thing. It's just how they use the toilets. They're not used to toilets. They use squats or holes in the ground. Remember I told you about that?
Right.
About in Italy. I was in that one place where it was like a big hole in the center of the tea room. And I thought, holy moly, rat man. One Afghan who's worked at the base for 5 years and is an interpreter laughed at the suggestion. He can't give his name because he works with the coalition and is afraid of being targeted by insurgents and winding up dead. I don't see any reason for separate bathrooms, he said. Everybody is human, so it should be one toilet. He said that foreign soldiers told him they wouldn't use the same toilets as Afghans because they're afraid of catching something contagious. Oh, it's like that homo disease. Soldiers say they're scared of local people who might have disease. He said, personally, I do not like that, but this is the way of the Army, so you have to respect that. The issue came to light when a Globe reporter tried to use the toilets near the main gate of Kandahar Airfield. The guard on duty, is that a play on words or what? The guard on duty directed the reporter to toilets 30 meters away.
About 30, man.
Saying the ones directly in front of him were for the Afghans. Lieutenant Colonel Blevins said he thinks that the policy is a cultural accommodation and it makes life easier for the cleaners.
Oh, no. I don't know if I want to read this next part.
Come on now.
Oh, no.
You can do it.
When the Afghans use our porta potties, they stand on the seats and it causes quite a mess, he said. I think it's just a cultural thing.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. My. Look out now. Let me read that sentence again. When the Afghans use our porta potties, they stand on the seats and it causes quite a mess. I think it's just a cultural thing, he said. The toilets reserved for the Afghans typically have the words local nationals written on the door, and they're different color than the ones reserved for non-Afghans.
Brown?
Well, I know what color they probably are. At least by the end of the day. The toilets look the same on the inside, except the plastic seat is sometimes removed from the local national toilets. Afghans say there aren't enough toilets to accommodate them, and theirs aren't as well cleaned as the ones reserved for foreigners. It's not fair, said Qasim, an Afghan interpreter who works at the base. He said some foreigners will use the local bat rooms when the lines are long and it suits them, but local Afghans can't use the bathrooms reserved for the foreigners. Some of the army guys, they use the local bathrooms, so we should be able to use their bathrooms too, said Qasim. As he speaks, his uncle comes over to say that the separate bathrooms are very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
We have very nice in there, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I got it somewhere. Like I said, the local bathrooms are...
very nice.
There we go. And he's grateful to NATO for coming to Afghanistan, hopes they'll stay a long time. Other Afghans who stand in line waiting to be searched as they leave the NATO base said they can accept having to use separate bathrooms and don't see it as a significant hardship. A few Afghan employees have the privilege of being able to use either set of toilets because they've worked with the coalition long enough to be considered trusted agents. Qasim said the problem comes down to the way Afghans use water to clean themselves before praying. The foreigners don't like it, he said. They don't be liking it. Lieutenant Colonel Blevins said there can be problems if water bottles used by the Afghans in their ablutions have to be fished out of the toilets. Oh! What kind of a hook do you use for those? Although Afghans are strongly encouraged to use the toilets marked local nationals only, they wouldn't be prevented from using another bathroom in an emergency, he said. Oh, let's hope they don't have no emergencies. There are also security issues to be considered, he said. Some foreign-only bathrooms are close to the soldiers' sleeping quarters, which need to be protected. More than 1,200 local people come through the gates of Kandahar airfield most days, according to the Canadian Guards who operate the main entrance. That's enough of that. When they use the porta potties, they stand on the seats and it causes quite a mess. It's a cultural thing. Can you say barbarian? Can you say that? 1,203 votes. Oh! Told you. We got 1,300 in our sights. Do we not? Well, there's those pigeons making those cuckoo-cuckoo sounds again on my balcony. I'm going to go out there and have a chat with them and see. Maybe I can fly away with them. What do you think?
I think you should go grab one and put it on the air or bite the head off of it or something.
In fact, I can see it right now. It's like dilly-dallying around. It's probably going to drop like a little... In fact, the pigeons remind me of them Afghans. The way they kind of indiscriminately do their toilet business. In fact, he looks to me like a dog looking for a good spot, you know. And speaking of dogs, I never did get that... what's his name again, the guy from Hialeah? Spazzing Spags.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening, Spazzing Spags, I tried to approve your dog, that comment, the thing you sent me last night, and it just vanished in outer space. You know, that would be one good reason to be an astronaut. Can you imagine all the useful information, all the lost messages and pictures and emails, all the lost information out there in space just floating around out there?
Well, you could just get a big electric net for it.
It's kind of like what's floating around in the Afghan toilets.
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that.
Oh, man. That is just, you know, I don't want to say like 10th world country or people living in the dark ages, but, you know, that's what it's all about. Don't tell me I've got... Oh, just one moment, please. Okay, well, I got to get that straightened out. 1,204 votes on the poll. For $1 million, I would, and I hate this poll is gaining. It's not losing. It's not going down, which, of course, that would be to please me and make me feel, you know, like we put a pretty... I don't care what they say. There's not a damn thing wrong with this poll. It's a fine poll. It's not even, you know, spectacular, but that's nice. I hate this poll. It's got 186 votes, 15.4%. For $1 million, I'd vote Republican, 146. For $10 million, I wouldn't do it. In fact, actually, what I would do is I would take the $10 million and I'd go in there and I'd vote Democrat. That's what I would do. I'd just lie about it. Is there anybody who wouldn't lie for $10 million? No. For $1 million, I would give up my favorite food for a year, 139. Have gay sex, 122. Work at WQAM, 120. Of course, you'll wind up spending that $1 million in, you know, psychiatric care, but nevertheless.
Not have sex for a year, 119. Live in South Florida, 96. Kill some people, 83. Not view porn for a year, 76. I know there's some people who couldn't do that for 100 million. Not smoke for a year, 71. And get married, 46 out of 1204. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, talking through our mother, I'm going to read the Norm Kent email again over that would be good. Maybe during the Marlin game tomorrow. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Sounds like a plan to me. Mad Dog coming up at 2 this afternoon, the Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog between 4 and 5. Then you got the Humper Solo at the Yenta Center, being the big hockey maven that he is, at the Bank Atlantic Center between 5 and 7. Panther preview at 7 o'clock. Panthers going to make those playoffs?
No.
Got any chance at all?
No.
No chance. Any interest?
No.
7:30, it's the Panthers and the Trashers. And then after the hockey game, as opposed to just sticking ESPN radio on there, we get like a little bonus game night with Jesse Agler. Now, is Chris, you know Jesse Agler, or was it Josh that was telling us about him?
I know him also.
And does he belong on the air?
He's a nice guy. Well,
that wasn't the question.
He's getting there. I mean, sometimes
if he ever stole a freight train, does he belong on the air? Is he a broadcaster?
He can get better, but he's pretty good.
You know what kind of an answer that is?
What kind of
I tuned out at as soon as you went to the sports world, so I didn't hear that conversation at all.
After the hockey game, it's a game that was Jesse Agler, and then of course it's ESPN Radio, which is a great way to get you into a radio-induced coma.
Scott Burrell. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool, I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour. I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Now back to the Kenny and Bo Show on 560 Q8. Your homo headquarters for the speech impaired.
Hey, everybody, look! I get to fill in again.
Goldie, dude, we got JJ on the phone.
Okay, but first I want to say hi to my mommy. Hi, Mommy! Look, your Saskal is on the radio again. I'm on the radio.
Yeah. Me too.
Go ahead, JJ.
Whoa. I got a used up old pickup over here. Whoa. And all bunch is poo.
Okay, JJ, you can go home now. I said go home now.
Yeah.
Coming up, we got special guest Bernie Mac.
Who's he play for?
Oh, he's not sports related and that.
Duh. Then who is he?
Like I said, Bernie Capel will be joining us to discuss the heartbreaker Snorri.
Is it Koppel or Kopel, like Ted Kopel?
It's Capel, not Koppel. Koppel will be on tomorrow. Whoa, look who we have on the line. It's Poopy Bimbo.
Cute.
What time you got?
It's, the big hand is on the 12-part top. And the little hand is on the...
What?
Yeah, I think it's 10.
Brief, go tell George we're going over.
Yeah, come on, man. Tell Neil to lighten up, dude.
Yeah, it's only a few more minutes.
We'll learn this radio situation eventually.
You tell him it's 1 o'clock at 560 WQAM. Don't forget that Kenny and Bo morning show, man. It's really something. Joyce won't let us say the word on the air, but it is. Now, how are we doing on the thing here? 12:20. Well, we got it made in the shade. No problem. 1,300. Mark it down. All you people that keep track, mark it down. David Sirota on the Smirking Chimp says, A2, Katie Couric. You know, not only have I not watched her since those first couple of days when she was on, I realized how inappropriate it was to put her ass... Which I
it still is.
But I haven't. The thought has never even entered my mind. I mean, it's so alien to me. It would be like expecting to find people speaking Russian on my TV set. It just is totally alien to my mind. A2, Katie Couric. How come I'm greffing so much? That's because I never got to make my bacon today.
Damn it!
And you want to know why I didn't make my bacon?
Why didn't you make your bacon today?
Because yesterday I forgot to go out and buy more paper towels.
I see.
Well, you can't nuke stuff.
You are right. You need lots of paper towels.
Right.
Unless, of course, you make it in the flavor wave.
How the hell would I do that?
Not microwave bacon, just real bacon. You lay it out on the...
I don't have any real bacon. I have only microwave, nukeable bacon. I could do that during the next break. I could go in there and smear it together. I'll find a way. I could get some slightly used from yesterday paper towel. Or I could take 20 minutes off and go across the street to the convenience store and buy some new paper towel and go in there and make it right the really good way and make it good. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Oh, where's Neil all of a sudden? Oh, he's across the street at the convenience store buying paper towels to make nukeable bacon with.
You could always ask a neighbor.
There are no neighbors home right now, nor do I know any of these neighbors. This is a very transient building, and I'm not going to go knocking on doors asking, hey, you got any paper towels, huh? I had a little accident here. I'm planning for my trip to Kandahar. I'm learning how to use the turlets. Anyway, David Sirota says, well, I think what I'll do is I'll go in the sack and I'll get out yesterday's. I mean, that's not disgusting, is it?
No.
It's got the fat from yesterday's bacon on it, though. That's all like munged on there. Oh, it's not good, you know.
You should squeeze it out and sell it.
I got news for you. If I squeezed my fat out and I could sell it by the pound. I could
there you go.
Forget about Woodbine.
You could sell it as hair tonic.
David Sirota says, I, like many people, find it nauseating that the professional political pontificators seem unable to contain their desire to apply horse race analysis to Elizabeth Edwards' announcement that she has life-threatening cancer. From CNN to Time Magazine to Rush Limbaugh, the national political chattering class has this week truly earned its well-deserved reputation as a group of people dominated by egomaniacal, self-absorbed freaks wholly and completely out of touch with even the most basic sense of decency. Perhaps the most disturbing display of all, however, was 60 Minutes' Katie Couric. She spent most of her interview with the Edwardses behaving like a prosecutor, cross-examining them about why they're going forward with the presidential campaign. And when I say interrogate, I mean interrogate. This was no ordinary interview. This was a televised guilt trip. She stated as fact to John Edwards that he is supposedly putting your work first and your family second. She also pulled a some-say technique, claiming that an unnamed some say that in making this decision, Edwards is displaying a case of insatiable ambition. In pursuing this line of repeated questioning, of course, Couric ignored the pretty well-known psychological value of work during healthcare crises. She also ignored the fact that this is an immensely personal decision that doesn't require some multi-million-dollar journalist to perform a televised Gitmo-style interrogation in order for viewers at home to glean the news value. And most incredibly, she ignored her own behavior when her spouse was diagnosed with cancer. That's right, Katie Couric's husband was diagnosed with cancer in 1997. I did a quick check of the transcripts for that year, and it's pretty clear that she kept working as the anchor for NBC's Today Show, if not full-time, then pretty close to it. I want to be extremely clear that Couric continued to work while her husband was sick was entirely her and her family's personal decision. I'm not going to comment on the merits of that decision, not because I think it was a bad one or a good one, because it's an entirely personal decision. Really, who the hell am I, and who the hell is anyone, to question someone's decision to keep working during a family health crisis? It's not up to me, or you, or anybody else to decide whether such a decision for Katie Couric and her husband, or John and Elizabeth Edwards is a good or bad decision, because it's an entirely personal decision, whether you're a national TV anchor, a presidential candidate, or any other damn thing. I don't care if you're running for Supreme Leader of the Galaxy. Your choice about whether to continue working at a time of family health crisis should be entirely your own, without fear of journalists trying to get a good scoop. I wonder how Katie Couric would have reacted back in 97 if people started interrogating her about why she was working during her husband's tragic illness. I'm guessing she wouldn't have reacted too kindly to it, which she shouldn't have. Why should she? She would have every right to be pissed off. That's why I couldn't believe she, of all people, insisted on this line of interrogation. I was frankly amazed that the Edwardses didn't get up and walk out on the third or fourth question along these lines. Couric at one point stated that politics is a cynical business, and the Edwardses laughed as if to say, duh. It is a cynical business, but it's cynical because people like Katie Couric are so utterly caustic and so utterly devoted to the scoop that they insist on exploiting even the most personal of personal issues, regardless of their own personal experiences. Pretty good crap, David Sirota, political strategist, New York Times best-selling author, yada, yada, yada. And a partridge in a pear tree. Katie Couric, my ass, man. Some journalist. She ain't even very, from what I'm hearing. 1,229 votes on our award-winning poll, even though 15.4% of the number keeps going up and up and up. We're going to give you a shtuch, Neil. We're going to stick it to you. We're going to make you feel like you want to blow your brains out, or at least go out on the balcony with that pigeon and look straight down. I mean, I'm a few floors up, you know. And like I told you before, the problem with that whole deal is you can get halfway down and you change your mind, you know.
Yeah, that would suck.
That is not good.
And you'd feel like an idiot, too.
Yeah, I know. I don't think you feel like an idiot. Well, you'd have to, like in golf, you know, when they yell 4, you know, like on the way down, make sure nobody pain in the ass bystander gets splattered down there with it. And Norma Kent writes me, and I read it again on my Hotmail, you know, as opposed to off the BlackBerry, to see if it would sit any differently with me. It did not. It was just as annoying, just as unacceptable, just as grotesque, just as non-funny. He writes, oh, here's something else you can rip me about on the air. That I'm a jackass and as useless as breast on a rattlesnake. You know what I mean by that? Because even a rattlesnake had lovely breasts. You ain't going to get anywhere near it. Same thing. That's how useless.
How lovely are we talking over here?
I mean, succulent.
I mean, I've already done that.
Supple and gorgeous. Perfectly shaped. How's that? We can't be talking about breasts too much here, okay? Because then Joyce will get all bent out of shape. Man, I bet you she's saggy all the way down to her ankles, Joyce. Can you even imagine?
Don't make me go there. I don't want to conjure that up.
Oh, yeah. A disgusting thought. It's almost as grotesque. That would be a good poll question. What's more disgusting, the way the Afghans use the toilets or Joyce's boobies? Huh? Think about either one of them, man.
Please.
In fact, there are a lot of people out there who just finished lunch. I apologize profusely. It's a bad idea, conjuring up either one of those images. How about Joyce squatting on one of the Afghan toilets? How do you like that, Joyce?
Rectum.
Yeah. You bitch. And the beat goes on, and these people, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, and corporate legal this, and she's worried about this one and about that. Yeah. But she sure as hell not worried about this show between 10 and 2 every day. I'll tell you that right now. Because she hates us, me especially, but you as well, because, you know, you guilt by association.
Right, and Chris, too, for that matter. That's right. Josh, because he worked here.
Like poison, speaking of rattlesnakes. She has a venomous hate toward us. She's spewing her ventum, like that guy said.
It's probably jealousy.
And what is that? What is that one? Oh, it's one of the voicemails, isn't it? Where the guy's talking to that moron about spewing my ventum. Well, I'll find one.
Sure, we can still play it?
Yes, George, this is...
No, that's not the guy.
No.
Hey, listen, I know my crap. Oh, here you go. Maybe it's this one.
I've been listening to WQAM for...
No, is that it? Oh,
yeah,
that's
it.
Yeah. That's the one.
I've been listening to WQAM for, 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've watched the morning show evolve and everything, and I have a problem. I'm taking my kids to school and thinking commercials for the guy that curses nasty things, and there's no warning. It just blurts out, you know, fuck you, and you can hear the bleep, you can hear the fuck, you know, and you can hear the ventum in his voice, and you know, I don't have a...
Oh, wait a minute, the ventum, that's the only reason I played it. Hear the ventum in his voice. And this guy's got kids. This guy's reproducing, okay, and I've got lots of ventum in my voice. And I'm blurting out F you on the radio, right. That's South Florida for you, man. See, my suggestion is that if you got your kid in the car and you're all worried what he's going to hear. I got my pants and shirt on, by the way, for Woodbine. Aren't you proud of me? But if you're worried about that, change the dial, okay? Your kid will show you how to do it. He'll probably reach right over and turn it right back out of this show. He's probably having a hell of a time. Sure as hell better than that country kiss crap you're listening to. Oh, sorry, Joe. Sorry. Shouldn't have said that, should I?
Whatever.
Well, that's because I'm not a team player, like that guy who called the other day. You're not a team player, Neil, and if you were, you would have let Kenny and Bo have their guest on for as long as they wanted on your time. Stuff like that. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
10 minutes after 1 at 560 WQAM.
God.
And now, another parenting tip from Kevin Federline.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's K-Fed with parenting tip 850. Don't pull out the baby nose hair or clean their ears with a garden hose. Though the ears will be clean, you fill them up with water, then you got a whole nother set of problems with Richard Dyfus. And with the nose hair, if you pulls out one of those hairs, ooh, out come out the brain, right out the nose. Word! If you needs me, I do birthdays, Barker Lounge mitzvahs, and biatch parties. You're welcome.
This has been another parenting tip from Kevin Federline.
For your fodder. 1,243 votes on a poll. 1,243. That's not too bad. But who's counting? Wait till you hear this. This is going to get you really... well, you wouldn't care. Well, actually, you would. All depending on what you're smoking. I was going to say you're not a smoker, but then again, it all depends.
Right. Sometimes I'm on fire and then I'm smoking.
Sometimes I'm...
Blaming.
So I've been told... This is in yesterday's Toronto Star, and what amazes me, and again, well, we don't care about what's happening in Canada. Canada sucks, Neil. Oh, that's right, I forgot. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Because in a country that supposedly is progressive as this one generally is, you know, on marijuana and gay rights and gay marriage and just a whole variety of things, you know, and personal freedoms, this just frosts my ass a little bit, even though I'm not a smoker. See, I'm not one of those people who's all in favor of banning things that have to do with other people. That, you know, in other words, if it's not my own personal ash to grind that I don't care about it, that's selfish is what that is. And there is few things in the world that are worse than being selfish. No smoking in apartments, ? Health Minister says he thinks debate on the subject would be a fine idea.
Nice
idea. The time has come to debate whether or not smoking should be banned in some apartment buildings, Ontario Health Minister George Smitherman said yesterday, amid growing pressure to curb the deadly effects of secondhand smoke in high-rise buildings. While Smitherman said he'd rather see market forces drive landlords to declare their buildings smoke-free, he acknowledged it would be worth having the discussion about whether legislation would be necessary to back up any ban. We've got to look at it from a regulatory standpoint, he said. We sure will do that. There will be a good discussion, but there's a lot of power in the hands of the people, he said. Landlords, hospitals, and anti-smoking activists say they would welcome a debate about banning smoking in some apartment buildings because they say tenants don't have the choice of a smoke-free environment now. Sounds like somebody's blowing a lot of smoke to me. Premier Dalton McGuinty, who has previously ruled out banning smoking in cars where children are present because it would be a slippery slope, was less eager to debate the issue. That's not something we're considering, no, he said in Peterborough, when asked whether anti-smoking laws should be extended to apartment buildings. Lawyers and politicians aren't always necessary to bring about social change, Smitherman said, citing the example of hotels that have gone entirely smoke-free. Private developers and landlords in British Columbia, Manitoba, and south of the border in Michigan have also banned smoking in some of their apartment buildings and condominiums. Smoking is currently prohibited in elevators, hallways, other common areas in Ontario, but not in apartment residences. You know something? The day they try to pull that is the day I'm going to start smoking stogies again. Whether Ontario wants to change that is open for debate, Smith said. They'll have to drag me out of here kicking and screaming, man. I just hate that kind of stuff. It's a debate Irene Gallagher said tenants across Ontario would love to have. Gallagher, who speaks for the Ontario Tobacco-Free Network, said 2 polls conducted last year for the network suggest that people want the choice of living in a smoke-free building. Well, let them move, for Christ's sakes, okay? Go find some other militant lunatics. You maniac. Some 64% of respondents to the poll said they prefer a smoke-free building over one where smoking was permitted, while 46% of apartment owners said smoke from the neighbors had seeped into their unit. Oh, I hate when smoke seeps into your unit, don't you?
All the time.
God. If they want to open up this debate in the legislature, that's good, Gallagher said. It would get people talking. We need the industry to respond to market demand by offering some choice. The polls conducted in March and November of last year surveyed some 1,800 Ontario residents and are considered accurate, yada, yada, yada. But Vince Brescia, president and CEO of the Federation of Rental Housing Providers of Ontario, said landlords can't make buildings smoke-free without some provincial muscle. Landlords can't evict a tenant who has a pet, let alone enforce a smoking ban, he said. Oh, really? They can't evict a tenant who's got a pet? I didn't know that. I think I'm going to go out and give me a dog. And then you'll see how fast they'll kick my ass out of here. What? What are you laughing about? A little, like Tiny, a min pin, man. A little dog.
I'll get a dog that can do an amusing trick like the one in the video.
No, I like the one that I'm still... I keep checking every break to see if Spastic there at Hirely has resent me that thing. He hasn't done it. Well, at least I got to see it. I laughed my ass off. I thought it was... And I immediately clicked to approve it, and it just vanished. And that little thing came on there. The item you're trying to approve has been sent off in outer space, sent to Uranus, or some crap like that. There was a technical problem. There's always technical problems. If it's really funny, it's like us. We got some stuff here that's really funny in the DCS. Of course, we can't play it. That's the point. I'll give you just a quick example.
Listen to me. This is Stan Beinstein.
Can't play that. That's a funny bit, right?
Yeah. Can't
play it. I'll tell you another one. That one. Can't play that.
Your what?
Well, you could let him say it.
What's that planet?
Wait, I think
That's
I heard
it.
a little, little sound.
That was a chirp scratch.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he was
maybe
just scratching over there.
Maybe Eminem's got chirpies. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me what he's got. I'll be honest with you though. I hate to admit this. This is a terrible thing to admit.
What?
In some pictures where he's like standing almost naked, he looks pretty good.
Okay.
I hate to say that because I can't stand.
I
can't stand what he pretends to be music because it just man.
No, you like that song?
What's that? I do like that.
Remember you used to read the lyrics or play the thing where it was just the lyrics, the dry voice of that?
The dry voice?
Of the original.
Now when you
can't play that anymore.
Voice,
Yeah. Careful now.
No. I'm just trying to get back to this.
I'm making sounds.
Yeah, if you have a dry voice, I guess you make different sounds with your mouth than if you have like a moist voice. Wow. And if you have a moist voice, there are going to be a lot of questions asked, I'm sure of that, especially in America, baby. So anyway, Hillary Short, President and CEO of the Ontario Hospital Association, said if the province can do something to mitigate the harmful impact of secondhand smoke, it should act. Why don't we just put everybody in jail, eh? That's the American way. Let's make it the Canadian way, too, eh? Good golly, Miss Molly. Can't people enjoy anything no mo? Can't they do nothing? And like I said, I'm not a smoker, and I do agree, like in a place like casinos, I hated that at Fallsview, Niagara Falls. Before they finally, last summer, they finally made the smoking ban. They extended it to there. And it's not that I'm a militant anti-smoker. If you want to build up a good tumor, that's fine. Just don't blow it in my direction, that's all. And it's one thing about a lot of you smokers out there. You sit down like in a casino like that, and they hold, I mean, you see there's like enough ashes on there, you could build a mountain with the damn thing. And instead of like flicking the ashes and making it less aggravating, they hold the thing there and it's burning and burning, and they know it's like wafting in your direction. It's like they're taking a fan and blowing it right at you, you know? Not good. Speaking of blowing.
$3.5 million.
Yeah. Hardy, har. How many dead people we got today, W? You bastard, you butcher. Cut the pork. Yeah, cut the crap. How's that? Cut the pork. Yeah, get a knife. 12:51. I don't know if we're going to do it or not. You better start pushing this, Chris. 12:53. I thought 1300 was a gimme. That's why I wasn't pushing on it.
We'll get it.
Now we still need 47 votes in 38 minutes. I mean, it's just barely more than one a minute.
You're worrying too much.
I've been told that before, in exactly those words, you know? You worry too much. I got that from my mother. I'm going to stop worrying, though, as of this moment.
Yeah, stop it. Give it back to her.
No, that's funny you said that. You worry too much. I've been told exactly the same words.
I think George said it.
Wart.
No, George didn't say it. A close personal friend of mine said that. You worry way too much. On several occasions. And I should have said, well, that's just me. You know, I'm just a schmuck. But then again, everybody knows that. Still 12:53. We need 47 votes in 37 minutes, and we're not going to. Oh, wait a minute. 37 minutes? Is that right? That's correct. I don't want my math to start getting bad here because that's about the only thing I know how to do, is the math crap. A senior aide to Attorney General Alberto Gonzales has decided against testifying before lawmakers about her role in the ousters of 8 federal prosecutors. Monica Goodling's not Monica. We can't have another Monica. I wonder if she wears a blue dress. See, we can't play any of that stuff anymore either, can we?
I don't think
so. Huh? Well, let's try one.
Go as far as you can.
Oh, we can't say
no.
Lewinsky. That's bad. Got bad implications. What?
Nothing.
Well, at least the thing doesn't say in and out of. It just says into.
Yeah.
Monica Goodling's announcement that she would take the Fifth Amendment to avoid possibly incriminating herself came as the embattled Attorney General cast himself as misunderstood in his conflicting accounts of his involvement in the firings. Goodling is the Justice Department's liaison to the White House. She said, I don't want to testify. Remember that song? I love that song. And I got it here somewhere. Your buddy Chickeneck sent it to me a long time ago. The Parliaments, and I want to testify. Speaking of faggots, man, the Parliaments. How do you like that? Now, if you were to smoke, what kind of cigarettes would you smoke? Not Camels.
Why not Camels?
Now, what about Chris? Chris, ever been a smoker?
Nope. I smoked cigars for a couple of times, but not anymore.
Couple of times. Well, what does that mean?
Like when, a couple of friends' weddings, so the bachelor parties and the weddings, stuff like that. But, yeah, that was about a year-and-a-half period, and then I stopped doing it. That's good.
They'll kill you, man. They'll absolutely kill you.
Bad taste.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love a good stogie, and of course, being a racetrack person, I got in the habit of doing that for years and years and years. I love a good cigar, man. There are a few things I like better. Well, a few. Smoke pouring from a high-rise building in downtown Chicago. Look at that.
Or on that roof. Now, we're being told the building is evacuated. They evacuated the building just as a precaution. But there it is, 500 West Monroe, if you know the Chicago area, just west of the Chicago River. You see firefighters there on the roof, and they're pouring, at least trying to get to that cooling tower.
See what's going on up there on the roof?
Those flames out. It appears to be smoky now. Don't see any flames there, at least visibly. So it looks like they may have gotten a handle on it. But we'll definitely stay on top of this story. High-rise fire in Chicago. No injuries. That's the good news in all of this. Happening right now. We'll keep you updated.
Well, thank you so much. See, there you go. Smoke is pouring. I agree with you about that song, man. It's so much better than the Drifters. Up on the roof.
What about
I'm just telling you, sometimes there are versions of songs. Well, I'll give you another one, Little Darlin' by the Gladiolas, which I guess if you're from New York, maybe remember that. But Little Darlin' was, and the Diamonds was the big hit on Little Darlin' from about like 58, 59, way back when, before most of you were born. Oh, there you go. That's the Diamonds, trust me. Am I right?
Yeah. I don't have any Gladiolas.
It's a novelty record. Oh, my God. I'm embarrassed. I'm getting choked up. But the one by the Gladiolas is great. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Bad. And that was the big hit. And, of course, that's because there are a lot of people out there, unlike yours truly, who have really bad taste.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Beef impaired. Porto Radio 560. The Canadian
The two listeners in our audience will be excited to hear the new comedy bit.
I think comedy.
Is a comedy bit?
Well, it's not sports related, which could be the situation.
Oh no, it's sports related, all right, and that's what makes it funical. Fun.
Funny?
Yeah, funny for us to giggle. Okay, here it is, gentlemen. Both of you out there. I can get this electronic device to work.
I'm making sounds with my mouth. 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 I'm making a sound with my mouth. I'm making sound. I'm making with my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
With my mouth. I'm making a sound with my mouth.
I want to plant azaleas.
Yeah, I feel like Alice Bennett. I got a live studio audience, baby. I got a pigeon on the railing out there. I'm looking out on my patio, you know, and the sun is shining, and there's a pigeon squatting right there on my railing.
How do you like that?
I don't. 1269
build
votes,
some
by the way.
bleachers out
It's a
there
cute
for
thing that you just sent me. I just sent it to somebody else, that thing about...
Miguel sent that to me. I thought it was hysterical.
Well, I'm forwarding it to everyone I know. Hot dogs. What is it again?
Hot dogs for the homophobes.
Hot dogs for homophobes. It's a lovely thing. Well, kind of. 1,269 votes. We need 31 more in 27 minutes. Gee, that's just barely more than 1 minute. Anybody can do that. And then as we get toward the last... I think what we're going to do, maybe just today. I don't think we need to do it every day.
Okay.
It's kind of like, well, no, we need to evaluate what happened here today because, you know, as of Monday, see, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you right now, and that is that I'm not turning on this phone monitor again until they do something. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they can, and not that they're going to say anything because they'll never say anything to me. As you well know, everything is said behind your back. Oh, well, you know, Neil's show is so much better when he's taking those calls from those morons and when he interacts with the caller. Well, you know something? If that's the way you feel about it, then do something, Joe. Do something. Don't keep sending meaningless emails to Norm about, well, you're going to be out and yada, 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 and one of these days, and bada-beep-bada-boop-bada-bop, and we'll pass it by Joyce and pass it around the dinner table and see who grabs it. Yeah, grab this. Now, can you hear that? It's not loud enough? Well, maybe if I open the other mic.
Hear what?
Can you hear the cooing? Listen.
No.
You can't hear it out there on the patio? It's just nauseating. Yeah, nauseating. It reminds me of cats. That's one of the reasons I hate cats so much is, you know, the way they come in that real creepy way, you know, rub against your leg with all that static electricity. Like, oh, fag, get away from me, you know. If it's somebody I want to rub up against my leg, it sure as hell isn't you. I mean, the cat. I wasn't talking to you or you.
Right. Trust me.
1272 on the poll. We're going to get that 1,300. I got my shoes on, my pantaloonies, man, my shirt. I'm all set for Woodbine. And I'm going to, when I'm at Woodbine, maybe I'll have some hot dogs for homophobes. They got some good wieners up there at the track. David Stockman, former top budget in the Reagan White House, and 3 others were charged Monday in an alleged securities conspiracy that embroiled one of North America's largest auto parts dealers before the supplier collapsed into bankruptcy. Stockman was former chairman and CEO of Michigan-based Aikman Corporation. He was budget director under President Ronnie Reagan. They're all a bunch of crooks. That's what I've been trying to tell you for a long time, haven't I? All a bunch of crooks. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Conservatives, Liberals, Chaim Yankel, whatever they are. I do like Chaim Yankel, though. I'm going to write him in.
Good.
Chaim Yankel and Meshi Pivik. Now, when is it? Is it the Sunday you told me is Pesach?
Oh, jeez. I thought it was Friday.
It is not Friday.
Not this Friday.
No, it's not next Friday.
Monday.
Sunday at sundown, trust me.
Monday at sundown.
Monday, like I said.
The 2nd.
Monday at sundown.
And she's buying bread at 7-Eleven.
Oi!
And the bread is wonder. And the bread is wonder.
Don't be eating no trape on Pesach, baby. I'm telling you right now.
The bread is really wonder.
You know, I never made that bacon, damn it. You forgot to remind me.
Well, too late now.
What do you mean too late now?
I'm kidding.
Too late now,
Obviously,
my ass.
it's not too late.
Too late now, my ass, mister. We got 24 minutes, and we only need 20 votes on the poll to get to 13. And we got that made in the shade. Now, what I was going to say is that, you know, I think we need to analyze what the hell we're doing here, and since we're entirely, you know, switching the show around, and nobody in the building, of course, is going to say anything. You know, because you think Clarence is going to come up to you and say, "Oh, gee, I think Neil really ought to be taking call." You think he's going to do that?
No.
You think Joe Bell is going to come there?
Maybe.
Carole King, it's too late. See, I could barely even hear it, and I talked it up. You know something? I am so good that sometimes I'm embarrassed by it. I know that sounds very, you know, self-serving, but sometimes I scare even myself.
Yeah, you do all right for an old man.
See, there we go with the old man stuff again. No, you're right. You're right. I was, you know. Now let me ask you this. Let's do it after the break, because I want to discuss that.
All right.
Because I actually wrote that with one of my favorite correspondents this morning about, you know, and I'm starting, I don't know, is it that I'm waxing philosophical now that I'm getting closer to death? Or I mean, I don't think about dying, except on Monday when I want to, like, induce it, you know, from the show and the station. But I'm not one of those people that sits back, oh, gee, I got a hangnail, I think I'm dying over here, you know, like that. Considering all the crap that I eat, being diabetic, like yesterday with that... all that score ice cream.
Stop rolling those dice. By the way, speaking of rolling dice, I passed Hank in the hallway on the way back from the magic room, and he says that everything that you say about this place goes triple.
Yeah. Amen,
He said, amen, brother, and then some.
Yeah, they sure jerked him around, man, sticking him on there in the morning, making him get up 4:30 in the morning and all that other crap. They've treated him like garbage, and that's the way this company is. And you want to know why? Because they're desperate. They're flailing around, man, desperately, reaching, grabbing, you know, trying to get a hold of something good. And they can't do it because they screwed it up. What did I tell you when Greg broke the egg? What did I tell you? When you break an egg, it's not like Humpty Dumpty, you know, when all of a sudden he put the pieces together again. That's a fairy tale.
They couldn't, remember? That was the moral of the
all
story.
the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. That's the deal at QAM. When Greg broke the egg, that's what the deal was. But anyway, don't let me forget when we come back after the break. And I'm going to go make my bacon, too, which probably isn't all that good for it. It's got all the nitrites in there. All that stuff. But I want to talk about this whole business about getting old, and you change. Your attitudes about life change when you get, you know. And I don't know whether that was because of that Jacob business, that whole the whole initiation to MySpace was not a healthy thing. I mean, I don't regret it because I got some terrific friends on there now that I wouldn't have met otherwise, and that would not be good. But you know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm saying I'm getting old. There's Rob Marciano there. I couldn't be getting too old because I see him and I get like, hey, Rob, you know, like that. And like when I saw that picture of our friend Mark, the soccer player with a broken leg on our MySpace on Monday. And I looked at that, and I couldn't be getting that old because I thought, like that. That's exact. And when he responded to my email, I thought to myself, that's a good guy, you know? That's a good guy with a sense of humor. But anybody that looks like that and is taking all those modeling pictures almost naked all the time, he's got to be used to everybody, including a bunch of old fags like me, drooling and getting all wild and like hot and bothered. Like, hey, Mark, you're like that, you know, like that. And that's exactly the way I looked at it. So I can't be getting that old, you know. Maybe it's just that I'm thinking about it more and just capable of doing it less. You think that's possible?
It's possible.
Kind of like when you get married, you know.
What?
Several days ago, I commented briefly on some recent statements that have been made by some members of Congress about Iraq. And it's important to make this point at the outset. The President of the United States purposely misled the American people on pre-war intelligence. American soldiers and Marines serving in Iraq go out every day into some of the most dangerous and unpredictable conditions. These brave Americans were sent into battle for a deliberate falsehood. Pre-war information was distorted to corrupt the oil for food program. There is no denying that the President lied to the American people. This is revisionism of the most corrupt and shameless variety. It's also something I enjoy. It's one of the reasons I've stayed in the business, and I believe the feeling is probably the same for most of us in public life. The President and his administration hate our country and hate the liberties for which we stand. They dwell in the shadows, have no regard for the laws of warfare, and feel unconstrained by any standard of morality. The President of the United States is dishonest and reprehensible, and none of us should want it any other way.
All right. Okay, 145. 1,290 votes. We need just 10 more to go now. I did a horrible thing here during the break.
What?
Oh, you know, someone came up pretty good.
Oh, the microwave bacon?
Mm-hmm.
Should microwave one of those pigeons.
I used a regular, like, fax paper.
Oh.
And I put it on that in the microwave. And then, when it was, and man, it's like 10 times crispier than it is on a paper towel.
How do you like that? Now use the fax paper in the fax.
All the chemicals from the paper?
Yeah. Not that there aren't any in paper towels, so, you know.
No, there sure are not. You better stop spreading that propaganda, mister. And then I took some paper towel out of the garbage that I used yesterday and just sopped off all that. You know, you got to do that. You have to sop off the extra grease unless you're a crazy person, you know, unless you have a death wish. Oh, in fact, look, because this other paper isn't absorbent. Oh, my God, take a puke at that. It's got, like, all the grease and fat is, like, munging all over that other paper there. That's not good. 1291 on the poll. We need 9 more votes, and we got 13 minutes. Should be easy, shouldn't it? I don't want to eat on the air, but I have no choice, because I'm certainly not going to. My lesbianese terrorist cab driver isn't going to permit me to be eating no bacon. I don't know if it's halal.
How do you know?
He don't like me eating in the cab in the first place. He would let me do it, because I'm his #1 customer. He loves me. He loves my money. He doesn't love me. He loves my money.
Right.
You know, that's an interesting distinction. Does somebody love you, or do they love your money? That was pointed out to me in a very astute email I got this morning. It was very perspicacious. Do they care about you, or do they just want your money, you know? How's your buddy Chris doing, by the way? Did he ever acknowledge getting that thing? Did you send him that thing?
I sent it.
Didn't acknowledge it, though?
Not yet.
You really have to wonder about some of those people on there.
Whatever.
I just like stirring that up again because it makes certain people paranoid. Like Chris, right, Christopher? Not you, Chris. 1294. Oh, we got 1,300 made in the shade. Of course, I can't talk about this whole old age thing. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. And then the people across the street will say, see, we told you all the old guys are there at QAM, the guys that used to be popular. We got the young hip guys, you know, like Sid the Kid. When's the next trend coming out? Do we have any idea?
I don't.
No. They probably have to look it up. You don't think Clarence is going to come right in there and say, oh, it's going to be on Friday or some crap like that, do you?
No. You know how to do that, right?
I know how to do what?
Look it up. Didn't you do that before?
Of course. I can do it during the last break. Of course, once we go into the last break, we don't come back. I can always talk over it, you know. I can interrupt. Man, this is good. But this is not a good idea, though. You think?
Why not?
Because the bacon is obviously absorbing whatever chemicals are in this damn paper. What do you mean, why not? Are you a crazy person or what?
If you make paper with chemicals, then they're in the paper towels also.
Yeah, but paper towels are like soft and fluffy and they seem like almost...
Oh, yeah, that means they can't have chemicals in there.
That's right, like you find them in the hospital or something.
How do you think they get them soft and fluffy?
Chemicals.
Right.
Man. You know, I would say right now that this is the best bacon I've ever nuked in my life. This batch
it's making me hungry, I'll tell you. Sound like the best of meals bit.
Yeah, like that. Okay, let's take a look at that poll result. I don't want to get all into that other thing because I don't have time to do it. And maybe it's not a good idea anyway, you know. But you do, as you get older, you become a different person. You really do. I never realized that. What did I tell you about one day I woke up and I realized it was old? Not good. I don't remember exactly which day that was. Because if I would have known for sure that day, that's the day I would have jumped. You're gone out on the balcony. 1294. We still need 6 votes. Don't stop now. Don't go backing away now. 1295. We still need 5, and we only got 10 minutes to do it. I mean, you'd think it'd be automatic, but you know this crowd. They like to. Oh, look at that. Down to 15.1%. I hate this poll. Now I feel better. Don't you feel a little bit better?
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you, Chris, since it's now the what is this? The second day. It's only the second day. Yesterday was stellar. Yesterday was spectacular. And don't forget, Cold Stone Creamery, kosher certified. That's what it says on their website. Certified kosher. Not just claiming to be kosher, but certified, probably by the head Rebbe, you know, by some big shot. And certainly kosher for Pesach. So what do you think, Chris? What's your analyzation? You're the expert now.
I missed some of the calls. Not the weirdos, though.
You missed some of the calls. Now, what does that mean?
It adds a little bit of flavor every once in a while.
Okay.
Although I must say, Monday and stuff like it was just outrageous. We are at 1,300, though.
We are? Well, that's one thing. Now, let me see. See, the thing isn't, it's not flashing because I haven't been taking any calls for 2 days. Oh, wait a minute. Look at this. Can this be? Oh! Line 1 is working.
Yeah, George came in and tested it yesterday. He didn't want me to tell you. He wanted you to find out yourself.
You mean Corso?
Yes, sir.
Schmuck. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir. Are you one of the good calls at Christmas?
I was trying to call you yesterday. You know they have 3 sizes, like it, love it, and gotta have it, right?
What's that?
Well, there's small, medium, and large, but I mean the large is really large. So
what are you talking about?
The sizes of the ice cream servings at Cold
Stone. Cold Stone. Yeah.
Right. It's a like it, love it, and gotta have it. So one time I went there, one and only time, I swear to God, I thought I was in a diabetic coma. I got the Founders, whatever you mentioned yesterday. I forgot the name of it. Let me tell you something. I'm a healthy male, 30-something, work out, and the sugar level on that thing almost killed me. My head was swooning.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try it, buddy. You're going to kill yourself by eating that.
I'm on the way to Rochester this weekend.
I'll see you in Dundas Square, buddy.
All right, Pally. How do you like that? Or maybe Buffalo. Although I'm not ready to go to Buffalo. They might have 4 feet of snow there this weekend. There's no snow here, and or anywhere. But knowing Buffalo, boy, this stuff is so damn good. I'm so glad you came up with the idea by making it.
Me too.
Man,
hungry. I wasn't hungry until now.
Can you hear how crispy it is? Let's take a call on line 1 for the first time in 2 years, and there's nobody on it. How do you like that? Nobody on it. We finally get it to ring, and there's nobody on line 1. WQAM, hello. Okay. So what do you say, Chris?
Yeah, I liked it without the calls.
I don't really care. I can live either way. But I'm sure as hell not going to go through a whole show again like Monday. That ain't never going to happen again. And like I said, it's just a question of whether my agent/lawyer, who's a very silly queen, whether he really is serious about, getting Joe Bell and holding his nose to the fire or not. And I really doubt it, because he's always got, well, I've got so-and-so going to be on my show on whatever make-believe station he's on this week, that has no audience, that stuff. And you know what else we got to do is the break.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes in the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding.
I got pulled over on the interstate.
I need you to step out the vehicle.
For a speeding violation.
Driving like a maniac.
They smelled some reefer smoke their way.
I'm looking for the pot. Oh, yeah.
Nailed me for some pot possession. station.
What kind of joint is this, man?
When they saw guns in my car.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Said they must have gotten there by mistake.
I've made a mistake.
The one thing that they cannot back me for.
Cheeseburger, two packs.
Here's a backseat full of burgers and shakes. Because those joints gave me a hunger attack.
Cheeseburger, two packs.
I ain't telling you no lies. Oh, yes, I had a Big Mac attack.
Who can say no to 49-cent cheeseburgers?
Along with red and glassy eyes.
All right, so he gets a little crazy when he's stoned.
Bye.